students from PCC Fulcara who did a brilliant job yesterday at the Junkature competition, and they're, listen to this, they're through to the cup final in May, and we're all so proud of you. Kathleen Grant, good morning. She says, Lee, I filled the kettle through the what's it, the strip? Is that the nose part of the kettle, is it? Because I had the same trouble with the lid. Have a nice day. Well, thank you, Kathleen. We're going live to Greg Hughes, who should be there. Greg, you're live in the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh this morning. You a bit of a road trip.
Good stuff. Was I live earlier on? Did you have your mic up? Did you have me up as well?
No. They couldn't hear you, but they could hear me calling you Daddy.
That's all right. And
Daddy, but listen to...
At least you didn't swear. Not that you'd ever
was,
swear because you're a good boy, but my word, Lee. Careful.
No, well, I know, and this is, yesterday I was saying I was tired, right? And then I didn't make no mistakes yesterday, but today I thought I had a good night's sleep, and I thought I'd be on my A game, but no, I was on my Z game. But everybody knows that I do talk to you as Daddy and call you Daddy off air as well as on air, so there you go.
Anyway, come here. Yeah, we had a lovely drive.
Show.
We had a lovely drive up here this morning, actually, up to beautiful Carndonagh. The weather's gorgeous. The scenery's gorgeous. We're looking out a window here, and the view, as I say, is something else. So, yeah, it's nice to be out of the studio late. We'll be back, of course, in the studio tomorrow, but we've a packed show, a bit more after the news. But we're celebrating Your Voice, Your Community. It's part of International Women's Day. We're here in association with the Show and Development Partnership. International Women's Day is coming up on Friday, but we're here celebrating it today. Tons of guests. We've even got live music, Lee. What about that?
I'm jealous. I wish I was there with you.
You should have come. All right, Lee, chat to you tomorrow.
All right, have a good show. It'll be great.
Take care of yourself. It is the 9 till noon show. We're a little after 9:01. Let's get a news update, and it's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A man has died following a crash on the A5 between Omagh and Ballygolly. The two-vehicle collision involving a white BMW and blue Scania lorry occurred on the Kerr Road shortly before 7:30 yesterday evening. The driver of the BMW, a 30-year-old man, was pronounced dead at the scene. The road remains closed at this time and local diversions are in place. Police are appealing to anyone with information which could assist in the investigation to contact them. An Inishowen Council is seeking an urgent meeting with the HSE to discuss the future of the SRU unit in Carndonagh. The HSE previously announced a reconfiguration of mental health residential services in Donegal, which would see residents at the facility in Carndonagh relocated to centres elsewhere in the county. A previous meeting was held between the HSE, families and elected public representatives. Councillor Marshall McDermott, however, is still calling for clarity on plans for the service.
The answers on the day we didn't feel were sufficient. There was no clear clarification that the service wouldn't close, so we asked to meet with Dermot Monaghan and the senior staff in the HSE to have a discussion with them to fight the cause and make sure that the service doesn't leave Inishowen, because we're dealing with vulnerable people here, people that cannot speak for themselves, and I think it's important that we stand up and speak for them because the service is just too important here to the peninsula.
Picket lines have formed outside hospitals and GP surgeries across Northern Ireland as junior doctors walk out for the first time in history. The 24-hour strike over pay and conditions is underway and will result in thousands of cancelled operations and appointments. Dr Fiona Griffin is chair of the BMA's Northern Ireland Junior Doctors Committee.
Junior doctors' pay has fallen by a third in 15 years and it's not good enough anymore. We've asked for an above inflation pay increase and we've asked for that pay erosion to be restored, and we've been told by the Department of Health that they cannot negotiate on pay until the junior doctors in England have finished their industrial action.
Major new changes are being proposed for the primary school curriculum. It includes teaching about sex and consent at an earlier stage and less time on religion. 4 languages would also be taught in primary school, along with a greater focus on other people's cultures. The changes, which were drafted by the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, will go out to public consultation today. Finally, for weather, rather cloudy but staying mostly dry today with only a few isolated patches of light rain. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
At Energia, we know the best way to use Gaeilge is Le Chéile. So whether you're at work,
it's full on push show,
or at play,
at
home,
Bostic a reach,
or away,
push on for a look.
why not add a couple of focal to your day? Seachtain na Gaeilge le Energia. Visit snog.ie to find out more.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, hello, I beg your pardon, I'm coming a little bit loud there. Hello, and you've all come along to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. It is Wednesday the 6th of March 2024 and it's 5 minutes past 9, and we are coming to you live from the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh. It's business as usual, but we're just out on the road and we've loads of guests joining us in our studio here at the Colgan Hall. We're celebrating your voice, your community. It's part of International Women's Day. It's with Inishowen Development Partnership, and today's event is bringing women from various backgrounds and ethnicity together in Carndonagh with the aim to inspire inclusion ahead of International Women's Day. I'll tell you a little bit more about what's going on here at the Colgan Hall, because as well as us being here, there's a whole host of other things going on, but we'll tell you about that because we have two of the organisers of the event joining us in studio, so who better to describe it than they. Right, so stay tuned for that. Now, the lines are open on 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number, 086 60 25,000. You can give us a call too on 074 91 25,000, 074 91 25,000, or email comments at highlandradio.com if you want to comment on anything that you hear in the show today, to raise your issues. As I say, it's business as usual in that regard. And you can watch the programme as well. We're streaming live from the Colgan here, the Colgan Hall here on our usual platforms. You can watch us on your large screen smart TV at home if it suits you, or on your Fire Stick on the YouTube app. Just search Highland Radio Ireland. Or you can take us on your mobile devices on that app. And we're across Facebook too, Highland Hub, Highland News and Sport, and we are also streaming on the X platform. Right, okay. Let's have a quick run through what's in the papers this morning. We'll start with the Irish Times. Politicians to be quizzed over redress after public meeting. This along the lines of our conversation yesterday with Michael Doherty. Local and national politicians are to be asked to respond in person to homeowners' demands for changes to the Enhanced Effective Blocks Redress Scheme excuse me, at a public meeting later this month. The meeting on March 26th follows a public meeting in Burt on Monday night, which was attended by hundreds of affected homeowners. The meeting was called by a united front of defective concrete block campaign groups to gather contributions for so-called People's Document, and then politicians will be asked to have their say and what they might do in relation to this document. And, you know, coming into Inishowen today, which I suppose is the epicenter of defective concrete. We know it's much more widespread, but this is where it all began, and you can really see the impacts of it for many of you listening across the region and wherever you might be listening to us from. You get a real sense of the issue when you drive through Inishowen and you see the signs of defective concrete pretty much everywhere you look. The Donegal Post this morning, news that a new ASB transformer has been installed on the Diamond in Donegal Town has been met with much dismay, particularly in light of the facelift work currently underway. Now, you might remember last year we discussed this issue, and the concern then was, and obviously still remains because it's still being reported, that this large transmitter was going to be an eyesore on the Diamond. Well, a number of members of the community have been voicing concern about the visual impact of this transformer when plans came to light. It's placed between the monument and the taxi rank opposite the Abbey Hotel. Many of you who visit Donegal Town, or indeed if you're from it, will know exactly where I'm talking about there. On to the Irish Independent now. New social welfare cuts for all Ukrainians living in state accommodation are on the cards. Social Protection Minister Heather Humphreys has signalled paying higher welfare rates for the 54,773 Ukrainian refugees already in state accommodation is not sustainable, according to the Fine Gael minister, her strongest comments yet on immigration. The minister said the situation had changed since the war in Ukraine broke out 2 years ago, and some refugees, she says, were coming here because Ireland was now more attractive than other countries, signalling a policy change there. On to the Irish Times now, and there is pressure on the Minister for Media, Catherine Martin, to publicly respond to former RTE chair Sue Nirahala accusations from her that she had a hands-off approach in relation to the national broadcaster. Opposition politicians have demanded that Ms Martin answer questions on RTE in the Dáil in advance of the St Patrick's Day recess, but this has not been added to the Dáil schedule. It could be weeks, in fact, before she will appear again at the Oireachtas Committee on Media, and I think the government want a couple of outstanding reports to be available before she appears before that Oireachtas Committee, because she'd probably have to appear before it, that committee in any case. Okay. The Irish Daily Mail tells us no more forcing workers out of their jobs at 65. A crackdown on employers who want staff to retire early is underway as the Cabinet has approved a bill to outlaw mandatory retirement in employment contracts. Now staff across both the public and private sector can work until 66 at least if they wish, with some exceptions when they will qualify for the state pension. It comes after a number of employees in RTE have taken cases to the High Court and the Workplace Relations Commission about being forced to retire at 65. Okay, do you intend to work beyond? I think the reality is a lot of it is about comes down to people not actually being able to contribute to a pension during their working life and not being able to live on the state pension. So some people, it's not about choice, it's about having to. A bizarre story from the Irish Daily Star. It's in a number of papers today. It's one of those you must be kidding stories. A Garda was suspended for 3 years. This after he gave a bicycle to an older person during the pandemic. He's been exonerated of any wrongdoing, but he's been suspended. He was suspended for 3 years. The officer was cleared of 5 disciplinary charges by an internal board of inquiry yesterday. The matter was the subject of an investigation after he claimed the bike was the unclaimed bike, I beg your pardon, was given to an isolated pensioner to use during the COVID-19 pandemic, but the necessary paperwork wasn't completed. The Garda's home was previously searched by detectives attached to the National Bureau of Criminal Investigation in 2020, after which he was suspended. So he lent a bike that was unclaimed to an older person to get about during the pandemic. He had the National Bureau of Criminal Investigation calling at his house. Then he was suspended finally, and I think common sense prevailed. He was completely exonerated. The Irish Daily Mail, a bit of health advice for you. Doing just a small amount of exercise significantly cuts the risk of having a stroke. Doing lots lowered stroke risks by 29%, researchers found, but below target amounts of exercise still cut it by 18%. A review of 15 studies looked at 750,000 people's record of physical activity over a decade. The author, Dr. Ormello of the University of L'Aquila in Italy, said all physical activity can be beneficial for stroke prevention. So we don't always have to set ourselves the absolute targets to see some benefit from it. And lastly, in the Irish Sun this morning, a senator wrapped for a misleading reference poster fears the Electoral Commission's statements are slanted towards a yes vote. The Commission determined a poster erected on behalf of independent Sharon Keoghan contains what is termed a factual misrepresentation. The poster urges people to vote no this Friday, stating, "Don't force mothers out to work." And she's reacted quite angrily to that interpretation of her posters on her social media. Okay, that was a run through the newspapers. Just to let you know, you can comment on anything you heard there or anything you're hearing throughout the course of the programme. WhatsApp and text lines are the same number, 08660 25000, or give us a call on 07491 25000. And good morning to Dolores, Audrey and Dean amongst the crew watching our show today. It's good to have you on board as always. It is the 9 till noon show. We are live from the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh. We're celebrating Your Voice, Your Community. It's part of International Women's Day with Inishowen Development Partnership. We're going to tell you much more about what's coming up on the show and the events taking place here when we're joined by the event organisers, Anya and Maeve, after we take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Stay right where you are.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
When it's time for confirmation, it's time for a trip to Watson Menswear in Letterkenny. Choose from a great selection of top label, casual and formal wear. Blazers, jackets and t-shirts. Also denims, chinos and footwear from big names like Diesel, 1880 Club and Tommy Bow. Shop in store or online and stand out on the big day at Watson Menswear, open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny, and at watsonmenswear.com.
Enhance your skills with SafeTech's part-funded training programs. At SafeTech, we provide courses including first aid, roadworks, people moving and handling, confined spaces, electrofusion and machinery training for Ireland and UK sites. Also online programs such as water hygiene, construction supervisors, safety reps and much more. If you have a group for training, SafeTech will go to you. Contact SafeTech today at safetech.ie and take the first step towards upskilling and safety compliance.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us what. The Lotto jackpot is an estimated €3.8 million. Play responsibly in store, in app, or at lottery.ie. The National Lottery. It could be you.
Keep out the cold, cold, cold! And ring Fleming for their full range of garage doors, agri doors, insulated doors, milking parlour doors. Fleming, 91 48 234.
Highland Radio are celebrating another birthday. We are inviting you to join us for our Highland Radio Birthday Bash on Tuesday the 19th of March in the Mount Errigal Hotel. Joined by the one and only Margot, myself David James, plus special guests Brendan Quinn, Declan Ernie and Patrick Feeney. This is a night not to be missed. Tickets now on sale. For more information, visit the outlet at highlandradio.com or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. We'll see you at the Highland Radio Birthday Bash.
Okay, you're very welcome back live to the Colgan Hall here, and we are here celebrating Your Voice, Your Community as part of International Women's Day. Anya McLaughlin, Community Development Officer with Inishowen Development Partnership, is with us. Good morning to you, Anya.
Morning, Greg. How are you?
Good to have you on board. Maeve Bradley, Stock Control Manager at Inishowen Cooperative. How are you getting on, Maeve? It's good to have both of you with us. Okay, Anya, talk to me a little bit about what's going on here today.
Okay. So we're here today in collaboration with Inishowen Co-op. We're bringing together an event to celebrate International Women's Day. So we have a sold-out event, a packed event from 10:30 to 12:30 today here in the Colgan Hall. We have music, we have dancing, we have food, we have connection. So we have a full schedule for this morning, and we're delighted to have you here.
And no, it's fantastic to be here. And in terms of participation, can people still call in?
Well, unfortunately, it is a sold-out event.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was
which is good, by the way, which
Absolutely,
is good.
Yes, so it shows a desire, and the need for such an event. So we're delighted to be able to bring it. Unfortunately, we did have to cap the numbers, but yeah, you can always listen through the show here. We have loads of social media updates, and get in there in time next year. I'm sure we'll do another event.
And what works great for us being here is we have access to quite a lot of the people that are calling in, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. You have a number of people. I mean, we have your Ukrainian choir, which you'll be hearing from later. We also have Highland Dancing here on the show. We have a number of interviewees which will be attending the event. We have a local farmer, Marie McLaughlin. We have a lady from Somalia. So they're all chatting about what International Women's Day means to them, and the theme of this year's International Women's Day is Inspired Inclusion. So it'll be all around that.
Yeah, and it's not just about this one day, isn't it? It's to sort of, I suppose, harness what's already happening and to grow it into the future. It's not about one day's inclusion.
Indeed it is not. I mean, it is, I suppose, a global celebration of women, but this is work that we do throughout the year. I mean, the co-op is established here in Inishowen for over 60 years, working with the community ourselves as a community development organisation. So we're always working on this throughout the year. Social inclusion and connecting with others is a big part of what we do.
Now, I mentioned Maeve Bradley, Stock Control Manager at Inishowen Cooperative, being with us as well. Talk to me a little bit firstly about Inishowen Cooperative. What is the group? What's the organisation?
The organisation...
Move a little bit closer for me, Maeve,
right,
if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the Inishowen Co-op is mainly agri, but it also gets involved in the construction and gardening and homeware, and it's very much community minded and great support for community events and fundraising. And we've got a great bunch of ladies in the co-op, and it's great to get with the IDP here to celebrate International Ladies' Day. We have lots of ladies in very responsible roles within the co-op, and works very well with the men in the co-op as well. Not to forget, we couldn't forget them. But we, as I say, the main thing is community and impact in the community and the support that we can give within the community. And we're very much involved with Spree Agus Sport in Carndonagh, which, we support them in supporting the community and training, and they have a digital fab lab, and we were very much involved in that. Yes, I had to remember that.
No, I like it. Great bit of marketing.
Yes.
Okay, so, and talk to me about some of the roles of the women within the cooperative.
Well, it's very much encouraged to progress in the organisation, and as I say, we have ladies across from HR, marketing. Lizzie would have been very much involved with Anya here, and Lizzie doesn't like to be mentioned, but let me tell you, this would not be happening if it wasn't for Lizzie, and she's a great one for screwing our arms up her back, so she is, and
she's
getting
persuasive,
us to do,
is she?
Yes, very persuasive, very persuasive to get us to do, But we have, as I say, we have between sales, purchasing, it spans across accounts, finance, everything. We have ladies involved across all aspects, and we have some brilliant young ladies who are farmers and also work in the co-op, and I'd be amazed by them. My own instruction, but
Yeah, and we're going to be speaking to Danielle Boner, who is a female farmer, WCD Female Farmer Photograph Exhibition. Everything's going to be tongue-tied today, isn't it? It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? I mean, I suppose, Anya, we're still at a point where we need international days. I mean, considering women make up a minimum of half the population of the world and the country and the county for that matter, but there are still those inequalities, those glass ceilings or whatever it might be, or how women are treated or seen or viewed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, until we have gender equality and gender parity, I think it does make for a better world. And I suppose we have to keep pushing that envelope, as you say. I mean, there is some fantastic women leaders. I mean, we have Colgan Heritage here today, who are highlighting some of the women of past and present, and the community, such as Katrina McLaughlin. She's an artistic director within the Abbey Theatre. We have St. Eugenius here, who was really a stalwart of education and getting girls to continue on with their education here in Carndonagh. So we have, giants of women who we stand on their shoulders, but certainly there is currently women who are doing great work in the community, and we really want to highlight that and really push those forward and as an inspiration to others.
Yeah, and I mean, only yesterday we were talking about the local authority, which already only had 8% female representation, but that is potentially could fall. There's only effectively one female politician that's actually seeking re-election at this time. There are other candidates, but it just goes to show that sometimes in some areas it can feel a little bit like we're going backwards.
Yeah, I mean, it is really important to have women in leadership. I mean, we look at our Micah campaign here and the Defective Bloc campaign. We have some fantastic women there. I mean, they are in the community, but we just need to see more.
Yeah, indeed. Where do you, not Danielle, I beg your pardon, Maeve, would you like to see the cooperative going now? Because, I mean, obviously you never stand still, are you? You're always moving forward.
No, we're constantly progressing, and we have a new website there now, and Lizzie played a big part in that. And, it's all about progression and keeping all our IT and everything up to date and modern, and my role especially, like, it makes my life easier. So that's...
And talk to me about what your organisation does with Spree Agus Sport, because that's a really interesting organisation that does an awful lot of work, but not everyone really is familiar with the type of stuff that it does.
No, well, to be quite honest, I would not be the right person to maybe tell you everything that it does. Like, but the co-op has as their main sponsor for the last couple of years, and it's very much orientated towards children getting, free training, and as I say, this digital fab lab is the big thing. I'll just keep saying about the digital fab lab.
You love it.
Because I like the name.
Likes how it sounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, brilliant stuff.
Mm.
Just on your run through today's events for us again, I suppose to whet the appetite of those that are on the way, but also to make those who didn't get their ticket jealous.
Okay.
So talk to me about the morning and how it's going to progress.
Okay, so we kick off at 10:30. Doors are open today from 10:15, so please do come along, because there's lots of stands and lots of exhibitions for people to view before we kick off proceedings. We have the Donegal Women's Collective here with a portrait exhibition of women in farming. Changemakers have brought with them their Self-Help Africa exhibition on climate change and farming and the effect on that. We have stalls from the Colgan Heritage, the IDP, Sláinte Care, and we also have Jane Gamble doing a little bit of butter making. Okay. So something to have to view. Then we kick off with our entertainment. We have the Ukrainian choir doing a few songs, and we have a beautiful young lady doing a gorgeous song, a solo piece. Then we have some Highland dancing, and we'll be asking people who do want to learn a few steps of Highland dancing to join in. Then we will have the interviews, and then we'll have some fantastic food from around the world. We have dishes from Ireland, Algeria, Jordan, Somalia, South America or South Africa. So
what time's that at?
Don't worry, we'll bring you up something.
Oh wow, fantastic!
That starts at around 12 o'clock.
All right, good
so
stuff.
We'll be closing then with that. So certainly a celebratory affair.
Yeah, I would say to you talk about inclusion, and it was a very difficult time, obviously, for an awful lot of people a couple of years ago. I'm thinking on the Ukrainian families that came here initially, moving to a different area, somewhere incredibly remote, or maybe it's something that used to, depending on where they had to flee. But I can only imagine what it must have been like to have to go through that, but then what it must have felt like sort of to have the community embrace them and talk of inclusion and saying, look, this is what we've got, why don't you get involved? It must have made a very, and I'll speak to some of them a little later on, a very difficult situation a little bit more tolerable. I don't think any of us, if you get away with all the rhetoric and all that kind of stuff, would any of us willingly want to sort of give up where we're from, our own house, our home, our community, the stuff that we're used to? I don't think any of us would, very few of us would want to do that by choice. So I would say the welcome they got in the community made that a little bit more tolerable for them.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people did leave dire situations in their own countries, and they're very grateful, when they come here to Ireland and the welcome they receive. And it's very much a give and take. They do want to contribute to the community. They do want to be part of it and to add, to the cultural diversity here and to help out. We have so many volunteers in our community that have come from other countries. And the women who are part of this event today are really, really excited. They're really, really encouraged to be asked to be part of it. And they're really looking forward to share a bit of their culture with the people here in Carndonagh and Inishowen.
Okay, listen, you've called down to us a few times. I thought it only fair that I should call and see you. So
thank you very much.
That's cool.
You're always welcome, Greg.
No, it's great. It's brilliant. It's great to get the opportunity to get out of. I was going to say get out of Letterkenny. I'd be shocked going back. But no, to get out of the studio and to meet people up in their space as well. Is there anything that you want to add, Maeve, or anything you want to talk about? I just want to make sure that.
No, you're safe enough. I think Anya covered it all. Like she did talk about that the co-op is around for 61 years, and it's very much, it's all about impacting on the community and supporting, and that's really all.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's been lovely having you on, Anya.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, we're delighted working with the cooperative on this event. I mean, they were right in there whenever we did the ask, and they have been totally on board with the project and the event.
Yeah, and supporting other initiatives in the community as well. It's a fantastic organisation. Okay, brilliant stuff, both of you. That's Anya McLaughlin, Community Development Officer with Inishowen Development Partnership, and Maeve Bradley, Stock Control Manager at Inishowen Cooperative. Both of you, thank you very much indeed. Okay, it is the 9 till noon show coming live from the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh. We've got loads more guests to come on the show, and some of the usual features as well that you would expect. I want to give a quick mention to some initiative that we have running here at Highland Radio. It's the Community Hero 2024. We're calling on you, the great listenership of Highland Radio. Do you know someone who goes beyond the call of duty, helps in their community, cares, volunteers, who goes that extra mile for neighbours or for friends? At Highland Radio, we thanks to a generous anonymous listener, we want to honour 5 community heroes and gift them €1,000 each. So we're inviting you to nominate someone who you believe is a hero in your community by emailing their name, address, the reason why, and your contact details to hero@highlandradio.com, or you can post your nomination if you want to as well to Highland Radio, Mountaintop, Letterkenny. Now, we don't need you to write an essay or a CV or anything like that there. Just whatever is comfortable for you to write out and get that information into us. But please do so before the 18th of March 2024. You can visit highlandradio.com for more information, and we kind of want to announce those winners towards the end of March. So the sooner you get them into us, the sooner we can start processing that and go along the process. Now, we had a couple of calls in as it relates to the planting of trees on the 4-lane. And we got onto the council. They're probably annoyed with us for asking all of this stuff, but there was some concern about the trees, the way they were planted, and others that weren't staked and stuff, and people were saying, look, they're going to end up blowing into the river. So the council said to us, all trees planted on the 4 lanes are fixed below surface of the planter areas. So someone was wondering why they weren't staked. They're fixed below the surface. After the recent status orange and red level storms, 1 or 2 did loosen. These were since restacked in a more conventional way. Further action will be taken as required going forward after completion. Projects are subject to a period of usually 1 year in which any issues or snags are addressed. This maintenance period for landscaping and planting elements is normally longer, this to ensure the proper establishment of those elements. Planting elements on this project, including the trees and hedging, requires maintenance for 2 complete growing seasons. As such, these matters are being monitored and action will be taken to address any issues on an ongoing basis. So they are attached beneath the surface, and there is a process that has to be gone through, and I think the council is saying there, we know what we're doing. All right, thank you very much indeed for that. Keep your texts and what have you coming into us, please, if you don't mind. A caller says, can anyone clarify, as drivers in Donegal, we pay vehicle tax, insurance and NCT depending on the year of your car. Someone recently said to me, if your NCT is out of date, your car insurance is invalid. Is this true? Now, insurance works in different ways because, there is a third-party element to it, whether you or your vehicle might be insured or whether a person that you might be in collision with might be able to make a claim. I don't know the exact answer to that question, and that came up for a lot of discussion, if you might remember, during the pandemic when... what happened during the pandemic? The NCTs weren't being done. And... if you had a booking or what have you, you were covered. I don't know the official answer to that, but someone out there might. 086 60 25,000. I want to say congratulations to Miss Harkin and the transition year students from PCC Falcara who did so brilliantly yesterday at the Junk Couture competition and are through to the Dublin City final in May. A texter says, we are all so proud of you. A caller says, what do people think about the high prices in private hospitals? We have to go to Northern Ireland through the cross-border scheme. You're in and out in a day and you pay upwards of 10,000 for a hip operation. You go private, you have to pay for it. Even something as simple as a, if you've got a child that needs a little bit of urgent attention for hearing or something along those lines, you go private, you're talking over €300 potentially. It just seems to be the case that if you go private, you have to pay. Hi, Greg. A question for any county councillors. Is anything going to be done with the unauthorised Airbnb pods operating without planning permission? They're popping up all over rural areas with people charging up to €200 per night to stay, using hot tubs and not paying any water charges on a commercial basis and using non-authorised septic tanks. I'm not sure what the rules are in relation to that, but if any local authority members are listening and share those concerns, please feel free to get in touch with us and we can talk it out. Hi, Greg. I'm popping on this microphone from time to time. My apologies. It's just something I can't really avoid. Hi, Greg. Why is there no road signs on the Bundoran bypass roundabout and the Donegal Town Lahey side as you approach from Bundoran side? The left lane is for left turn only and the right lane for straight. The amount of times I've been cut off by vehicles in the left lane going straight, I'm surprised there hasn't been multiple accidents. A couple of road signs to educate people approaching the roundabouts would solve this. The problem with this, and anyone approaching these roundabouts or similar roundabouts will see there are sort of like two funny shaped triangles in either lane. I'm not really quite sure that the left lane is for left and the right lane is for right in those instances. We'll have to check that out, or someone out there with a bit more experience than I can let me know. But I think we covered this before, and I don't think those lanes are specifically, unless they're signposted that way, are specifically laid out that way, that it is left lane for left, right lane for straight on, etc. But I am open to correction as always here. Right, it is 9:35. You're tuned to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Loads to come on the show, and our next guests will be joining us after this quick break.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Despite low temperatures and high energy costs, it's important everyone stays warm and well through the colder months. It's also important to understand that saving energy where possible saves money and helps reduce the impact on our climate. Simple steps can make a big difference, like turning down the thermostat by 1 degree, limiting the use of high energy appliances like tumble dryers, or ensuring we don't heat rooms that aren't in use. Government is playing its part too, making a range of supports available to help ease the burden on families across the country. For support and advice, visit gov.ie/reduce your use. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out shaneconleycars.com or call into us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Are you tired of waiting for treatment or surgery? Did you know you can receive immediate treatment across the border under the new NI planned healthcare scheme at potentially no cost? Donegal patients are still being treated with us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital Northwest post-Brexit. The process is easy and our dedicated team will help guide you through it. So why wait? Contact us today to find out how you can skip the waiting lists and receive treatment in Northern Ireland. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com, because life matters.
Getting married? Evolve Clothing at Letterkenny Retail Park is your destination. Book today for expert advice, a private wedding room and great value. Make your wedding day unforgettable with Evolve Clothing.
This Mother's Day, treat your mum to a beautiful bouquet of flowers from Annie's Flowers and Gifts in Letterkenny. Call 917740 or order online at anniesflowers.ie. Make it special this Mother's Day with Annie's Flowers and Gifts, Lower Main Street, Letterkenny.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio. We're broadcasting live from the Colgan Hall. We are in Carndonagh celebrating Your Voice, Your Community. It's as part of International Women's Day with the Inishowen Development Partnership and Inishowen Co-op. Danielle Bonner is coordinator of the Women's Collective Donegal and joins us on the programme now. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning, Greg.
Good to have you back on the show, and it's musical chairs, because last time I spoke to you here, Anya was beside you. Anya's give you the flick. She's hanging around with Maeve now, and you're in on your own.
I know. It came up as a Facebook reminder this morning that a year ago we were in Letterkenny with you, so I thought it was very ironic.
Now, I also almost announced you as a farmer in an earlier link. You aren't a farmer, but you are coordinator with the Women's Collective Donegal. What is the Women's Collective Donegal?
So we're part of a national organisation. There's 17 of us across the county, the country. So we're grassroots women's organisations that work to empower women in the community. We were actually called Donegal Women's Network for 20 plus years, and then we rebranded under the national organisation about 2 years ago now, actually. Yeah. So yeah.
And what work do you do?
So we do lots of things. So we do create spaces for women to come together. So we have our office in Donegal town, but we do work county-wide, hence why we're here today. So we do stuff like wellness, and I say therapeutic, not therapy, because we're not a frontline service. We do stuff to empower women. So we've been doing since last year plumbing courses. So we've done a number of those. We're doing DIY courses. So skill
What's
building.
the uptake been like in that regard?
Greg, I put it out within an hour and I had 40 women sign up.
Wow.
And we have we've run it 4 or 5 times. We did an advanced one as well. And actually, I have to say I'm so proud of the women, because one of the first group we did in Donegal town, one of the ladies, she had Mika in her house, and the house got tossed at Christmas.
Wow.
And the women that had never done anything before like this, with Gary, went to her house. And they replumbed the caravan that they were going to live in.
Unbelievable.
And there's a video up on our Facebook page, and that's from the plumbing course. They had the confidence to do that. And last week I got another photo from another lady. She replumbed her sink because she was doing the course in Letterkenny with us.
Yeah, so it's not just the basics,
No.
like bleeding a radiator or hanging a shelf or stuff. It's actually roll up your sleeve stuff.
Yeah, and changing things. And Gary, who's a facilitator, he's a plumber himself, he lives in Carndonagh, he explains it in such a way that he's like, this isn't rocket science, it's common sense. And women have common sense in abundance.
Yeah, but there's gaps, and it's not just in this area, but there is gaps that can happen in our knowledge. If someone may be an influencer, you don't have access to them, or maybe you were a woman raised in a house with 5 boys. Maybe you might be more inclined to be. I don't want to be judgmental.
No,
but
there's a cultural thing there as well.
You can see where the gaps would exist.
Yeah,
you?
and we have people sometimes who are hesitant. Oh, I don't know plumbing, because I was on the hunt for somebody for a long time to do the plumbing course for us. And Gary's very unique in the way he understands why we're asking him to do it for empowerment. So it's not. I don't think the average person could teach that course potentially. That's that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, well, that's a credit to Gary, isn't
yes,
it?
It is, definitely.
And huge uptake. So you had just almost instantly,
and I closed it, and then people were like, I want to do it, why can't I do it? I was like, because we've only got a small room, and we can't have 20 people at plumbing course. But yeah, we're blown away by the uptake.
Now
on
today, more specifically, as part of this event taking place downstairs, what are you demonstrating?
Yeah, so in 2021, during lovely lockdowns, we took part in a FemLens project. So there was 10 women from Donegal, and we learned how to take photos and tell stories through our phones. So all the photos downstairs were taken on mobile phones, and then 2 of the projects are about farming. We all chose our own topics, and it just happened that 2 of them were farming. And then actually we've got a recent one, so it wasn't the original FemLens project, of the lady that owns the milk bar. So there's photos of her. We did an interview with her last year as part of our Women's Lives.
I believe she featured on our Business Matters podcast as well.
Yeah, she's a really lovely story. And the photos are down there of actually the woman that took the photo was a FemLens participant. So they are hers, but they weren't part of the original one. So 2 are from the original FemLens project. And that was also about empowering women to be storytellers. Yeah. Because women in photography, there aren't many women in photography in terms of professionalism, and so that's.
But by doing it through phones and stuff, it made it far more accessible, didn't it? So you didn't have to front load a lot of equipment, and it leveled the playing field.
Yeah, and people are shocked when you tell them they were taking on phones, essentially.
Okay, good. That's downstairs now.
That is downstairs now, so you can take a look afterwards. So we were delighted when Anya, she gave me a call and said, "Oh, Danielle, I see you're doing stuff around women and farming." I was like, "Yes, we are, Anya." And then she said, "Can we bring the photography project up here?" So it's downstairs on display to the end.
I mean, obviously, the important element of it here is to also highlight women's role in farming and at the forefront as well, because often I feel like it's not really my place to say this, but everyone has to really speak out, really. But often we talked about politics a little earlier on, and in certain businesses, or we often talk about the great women what women do behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? It's
the
kind of a
double-edged
theme,
sword,
isn't it?
And this is the theme. So behind the scenes, but does behind the scenes mean less?
No,
I know, but it
not
has
the
that
face
kind
of
of
it either,
it
is
has
it,
that
you know?
connotation, and so the story. So the stories that we see in downstairs are women are actively running farms. they're running farms and they're also behind the scenes. And one of the ladies downstairs, Joanne Butler, you probably interviewed her. She has our organic gardens, community gardens, and we had an interesting conversation with her. She's never called herself a farmer, but by definition of the work she does, she is a farmer. So it led us to the conversation.
Is she on the programme today?
She's down. No, but her picture's downstairs.
Okay, I get you. Is there a reason why?
Well, this is the conversation we had. Cool. That potentially there are women doing farming that aren't calling themselves farmers. She would call herself a food grower. That is farming. You know, Kate is downstairs as well. She's a change maker worker. She's a beekeeper, so she's part of the exhibition. And we had a fascinating conversation with her about beekeeping. Lots of women do beekeeping, but maybe they're not calling themselves farmers, but they are. And pollinators, if we don't have bees, we can't have pollination of our food. No. You know, and there's a whole link to development and sustainability and food poverty. If we can increase the rate that women are engaging in farming, we can decrease, hunger. Yeah. So there's a whole positive cycle, so we can support women. And I think there's a connection with education as well. That globally there was a lack of women doing farming, but they had less education than men. And there's research to show if you have women educated more, they can increase food production. Again, impacting positively, reducing food hunger and decreasing poverty as well. So there's a whole host of positive things that come out of this.
Globally, the challenges are in some cases more severe for women, some cases not quite so, but basically fundamentally the same.
Yeah, and that I always come from a global. I came from the global and then came local in terms of the work that I do. And I was like, they're exactly the same, but on different levels. Mm-hmm. And I think if we start to see things through those lenses, we can address, they go hand in hand. So for me, it's fascinating that, and sometimes there's solutions that are globally that we think we can't get a solution from a global place. Yeah. But they have solutions. There's from health, there's a whole host of things.
So just for those who want to get involved in the Women's Collective, I can't recall speaking to a woman who mentioned it outside of my conversations with you. Now, clearly lots of people know about it because you put the calls out there and there's big uptakes and what have you. But can women get involved individually? Is it through groups? Yes, is it county-wide?
We're county-wide, so I'm going to say this. The last year we've been a victim of our own success because I don't work full-time, and my colleague, she's not working technically for us today, she's doing some work for our IDP. Rona, she works 21 hours a week, and then we have Sinead, she's 7. So there's so much more that we want to do. We do stuff in our office, so we have a Donegal Town, so we try to utilise our space there, but we're always out and about in different communities. We'll go out, we'll do workshops, and we'll put a call out in that community, and women then can come to it, or we might approach a group and say, do you want to do some collaboration with us? So I would say this, if there's an organisation or community group that wants to do something around women, get in contact with us, we'd have a conversation and see what we can do. We're actually starting 2 new courses, one in Carndonagh and one in Moville just after Easter, then ecotherapy courses, so connecting nature for wellness. So they are happening up here in Inishowen. We've got another course, aromatherapy course in Letterkenny. So we are all over the place, but we have to be careful, mindful of ourselves as well, because we would like to do everything, but we can't do everything. But we are here, there, and everywhere, Greg.
All right, good stuff. You're going to enjoy this morning downstairs?
I am. I need a cup of tea.
I need a cup of coffee. Do you want your bits are on at the news is on at 10?
Yes. I need a cup of coffee. Tea, no, then a coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm going to start buzzing because I'm not going to get any food. All right. Listen. Although apparently, Anya said earlier on, there's different foods from all over the world.
There is. I think there's Irish food, and then
Spice is my thing,
I do have to say, I love Middle Eastern and.
What is Middle Eastern? How would you define that?
A couple of years ago, I went to an event that was supporting Syrian people that were arriving in Donegal on the food, the rice. It's not just rice; it's seasoned rice, and there was meat in there.
I think we're going to have to hold this in here because we're going to have to stop that right there. I don't think both of you are going to survive the description of tasty Syrian
Amazing
food.
food, that's all I can
we
say.
have a few
Amazing
bibs in
food.
here, please, and something to wipe up the salivation? Okay, brilliant. Listen, Danielle, we'll get downstairs and we'll sample it. Enjoy the morning.
Thank
and
you.
I think it's going to be a great
Yeah,
buzz.
come down and have a look.
Yeah,
Want a photo with you, Greg?
No, sure, I would love to. I certainly will. But for now, Danielle, great to see you again. It seems to be once a year, is it? Is that how we're doing
Yeah,
this?
we'll see you next year.
All
And
right.
maybe get us back in and we can talk about the courses in
I
September.
want to talk about that because I think, I think there's going to be a lot of people messaging in saying, where are these, what are these? And it's not even, I know your focus is on women, but I don't think it's just necessarily women as well,
Well, we only work with women, I want to be clear at that.
Do, but my point is I think there's maybe a generational gap coming.
But there is the men's sheds, Greg. If they want to do technical, get involved in the men's sheds and then drive those men's sheds. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. Yeah, they're cool. I know lots of people involved in them. All right.
And they're active.
Yeah, for sure. Defo. Listen, thanks, Danielle Bone, our coordinator with the Women's Collective Donegal. Always a pleasure to have you on the programme. It is the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Some of your texts coming in. Hi, Greg. On a show celebrating International Women's Day, can you please mention the fact that the Constitution does not state or imply that a woman's place is in the home? This has been confirmed by the chair of the Electoral Commission, Supreme Court Judge Justice Marie Baker. Given you allowed both Leo Varadkar and Barry Cowan spread that misinformation without objection on the show, which is not true, the irony in this referendum is that a no vote on International Women's Day 2 days before Mother's Day will remove a legally tangible constitutional protection afforded specifically to mother. And at the same time as we had Barry Cowan on the show, we had the Ain't2 leader campaigning for a no, and we've had a mixture in between. The choice comes down to you, the people, on Friday. It's come to our attention that text messages have been circulating from an unrecognised mobile number, falsely claiming to be from Panda. This is the waste company, I believe. If you've received such a message, please delete it promptly and avoid clicking any links. Authentic Panda text messages are always displayed Panda as the sender's name, not an unrecognised mobile number. Thank you. But please be careful, because if those that clone numbers choose to actually clone the Panda number, the messages can also appear on your phone to be from Panda. And I'm not, I hope I'm not trying to Trump Panda there, but the number not actually appearing in the Panda thread does not necessarily mean that it's not a scam either. So just double check. All right, we are going to take a break. We'll be back with loads more from the Colgan Hall here in Carndonagh in just a few minutes. Stay right where you are.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Experience total relaxation in the Spa at Orchids at the Holyrood Hotel, Bundoran. Recently awarded Best Hotel Spa Getaway at the RSVP Spa Awards. Enjoy luxury spa baths, revitalizing facials, rejuvenating massages, pampering body treatments, outdoor hot tub, and tranquil Japanese garden. Visit on a luxury spa day, pop in for some me time, or buy the perfect present or gift voucher. Relax and let the Spa at Orchids transport you to another world. See holyroodhotel.com.
I'm making a move. Looking for real choice? Leave diesel behind and make the move to Toyota Hybrid Electric at Kelly's Toyota Letterkenny and Mount Charles. World-leading hybrid electric technology, lower emissions driving, with the widest choice of hybrid electric models from Ireland's best-selling car brand. With flexible payment options available, make the move today at Kelly's Toyota Letterkenny and Mount Charles. Toyota, built for a better world.
For a great breakfast, pull into Kelly's Diner in Letterkenny. Not just a great breakfast, but mouth-watering burgers, delicious chicken, succulent steaks, and so much more. For kids, it's not just about pancakes, but a full children's menu to choose from. First Communion and Confirmation celebrations also catered for. Great food and great service every time. At Kelly's Diner, Letterkenny, winner of Best Family Dining at the Highland Radio Hospitality Awards.
For new perspectives and a fresh vision, join me, Greg Hughes, on the 9 till noon show every Thursday at 10:15 for your voice, your community.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. You don't visit Liverpool for the weather, but it does rain goals at Anfield. Fly to Liverpool daily with Ryanair. Ireland West Airport. Don't just take off, take it easy.
Radio. Let's have a look at that weather forecast. Rather cloudy, but staying mostly dry with only a few isolated patches of light rain. Southeast breezes will freshen with highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. Cloudy and perhaps a little damp this evening with a fresh southeasterly breeze. Lowest temperatures overnight of 4 to 6 degrees. Now, a cloudy start tomorrow with some light patchy rain, but sunny spells will develop by the afternoon and it will become mostly dry too. Southeasterly breezes will persist through the day with highest temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees. So it's going to be a reasonably pleasant end to the week, but more rain on the way for what day? The weekend. All right, coming up after 10 o'clock, we've got loads of guests joining us. We're going to be speaking to Patricia Higgins, Fatima Mohammed, Laura Campbell. She's a young female farmer with a wealth of experience. Jane Gamble, who we heard a little earlier on, who's doing a butter making demo. Can't wait to hear about that. And also later on, we have the Ukrainian choir, or a Ukrainian choir, performing live for us in studio. And just to remind you, you can watch the proceedings live on our YouTube channel, Highland Radio Ireland, or on our Facebook page, Highland Hub, Highland Radio News and Sport. Okay. It is Highland Radio Sport. It is, okay. A caller is the foundation of the Irish Refugee Council in the 90s. The only place that the phrase durable relationship appears is in European law in reference to people who wish to be allowed to migrate, meaning that if someone is already migrated to Ireland and has a durable relationship with someone who also wants to come to Ireland, they may do so as they have a durable relationship with somebody already here. The overall drift of legislation is towards making us less independent individuals with individual rights, believe this listener, creating more of a communist in society defined by our sum total of our relationship with the state. Okay, that's a deep dive into the potential consequences, but that's what that listener says. Also, keep your WhatsApps and texts coming through to us. We can, of course, access them remotely. It's 2024. A texter says, why are there no Garda speed checks on the new Bonagee to Letterkenny Road? It's so dangerous for people walking. We were talking about some of the roundabouts around the county and confusion as to whether, the lanes are specific to particular turn-offs. Approaching Tullyall roundabout travelling north, the left lane is absolutely for going into Donegal town past Cherrymore. The right lane is for all other routes. The amount of people getting this wrong is frightening. But if you look at the rules of the road, and this is just for the purpose of conversation, as if we were all just sitting around a table having a chat, the left lane, it's not signposted, that left lane in particular, that the left lane is for Donegal town. That's what I use it for, and I use the inside lane for going straight. But if you go to the letter of the law, as far as I understand, unless it's signed otherwise, that the left lane is for every turn off from 12 o'clock on the clock to 6 o'clock, going in an anti-clockwise motion. So on that roundabout, if you were to follow those rules, then the right lane would be only for heading back towards Ballyshannon. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I think therein lies much of the confusion. Hi, Greg. My granny is in her 70s and she has shingles at the moment. I just had a new baby and I'm reluctant to visit her. Can you tell me if shingles are infectious? I can't, and we're certainly not going to give out medical advice. But what we will do is put it out there, or maybe make our own inquiries to find out what the situation is there. Personally, with me, with a newborn, it would be an absolute abundance of caution. But that, as I say, is not me giving any advice. Okay, it is the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. We are live from the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh in beautiful Inishowen. What a drive up here today. The scenery is absolutely unbelievable. And we're celebrating your voice, your community. It's part of International Women's Day. And it's with the Inishowen Development Partnership and Inishowen Co-op. Stay with us. A lovely 2 hours on the way after we take a break now for the news and the obituary notices.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Relay for Life Donegal is back and now open for team registrations. Walk with us for those who can't in this 24-hour relay on May 25th and May 26th. We celebrate our survivors, remember our loved ones, and together let's fight back against cancer. Gather your team and make a difference. Register now at DonegalRelayForLife.com.
Don't miss out. The House Proud Winter Sale is ending soon. Enjoy up to 60% off on selected items with finance options available. Visit our flagship store at Abercorn Square, Strabane or House Proud Oma to grab fantastic deals before they're gone. But hurry, time is running out.
At Electric Ireland, in addition to our recent price reductions for all customers, our new customers will be welcomed with a discount of 24% off electricity plans. So switch today at electricireland.ie or call 1800 30 50 90. Electric Ireland, making your bill smaller and your world brighter. EAB €1,394 electricity based on discounted unit rates, PSO, levy and VAT. Decrease in EAB from 1st of March 2024, subject to change. Terms and conditions apply. See electricireland.ie.
Skoda cars are made for exploring Ireland. But let's add more style, more sexiness, more French. Skoda Fabia, Scala and Kamiq models are available in the Monte Carlo range. Black exterior details, excusez-moi, sports seats and bumpers, enchanté, and carbon decor, so chic. Order your new 2024 Skoda with more je ne sais quoi at skoda.ie. Skoda, let's explore.
Your local Skoda dealer is DMG Motors, Clare Road, Donegal Town. Telephone 074 97 21396 or visit dmgmotors.ie.
Lancome has an exclusive beauty gift waiting just for you. Available now at Michael Honey's Ballybuffet. Simply purchase 2 Lancome products, 1 to be skincare, and receive your free 6-piece gift. Available this week only, in store and online at michaelhoney's.com.
Live, on air, online, and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. A man has died following a crash on the A5 between Omagh and Ballygawley. The two-vehicle collision involving a white BMW and blue Scania lorry occurred on the Kerr Road shortly before 7:30 last evening. The driver of the BMW, a 30-year-old man, was pronounced dead at the scene. The road remains closed and local diversions are in place. Police are urging anyone with information which could assist in their investigation to make contact. A Midlands North West MEP has hit out at fellow MEPs who have tabled amendments to the report by the EU Petitions Committee on defective concrete blocks. The EPP group of MEPs, which includes Fine Gael, has proposed the removal of wording pertaining to the introduction of legislative initiatives to provide more effective market surveillance over construction products. A further amendment has been put forward by the group seeking to introduce the concept of force majeure. MEP Luke Ming-Flanagan is highly critical of the move.
We can't let anyone run away from why this happened. We know why it happened. It wasn't an accident. And for me, it's quite disgusting, the idea that Fine Gael's group will be trying to introduce this and to water down the fact that this is actually the fault of government and it isn't an accident.
The Labour Party is filing a Dáil motion today challenging the government's handling of the housing crisis. It's calling for a rent freeze, an end to no-fault evictions, an increase in housing targets and a plan to tackle short-term lets like Airbnb. Labour Deputy Duncan Smith says the government's housing policy is an omni-shambles.
Despite their Housing for All document, despite all the measures they say they've brought in, homeless figures are rising. There's more people living on the streets, there's more people in homeless accommodation, and we're not getting enough people into homes, be they social homes, affordable homes or the private market.
An Inishowen councillor is seeking an urgent meeting with the HSE to discuss the future of the SRU unit in Carndonagh. The HSE previously announced a reconfiguration of mental health residential services in Donegal, which would see residents at the facility in Carndonagh relocated to centres elsewhere in the county. A previous meeting was held between the HSE, families and elected public representatives. Councillor Martin McDermott is still calling for clarity on plans for the service.
The answers on the day we didn't feel was sufficient. There was no clear clarification that the service wouldn't close, so we asked to meet with Dermot Monaghan and the senior staff at HSE to have a discussion with them to fight the cause and make sure that the service doesn't leave Inishowen, because you know, we're dealing with vulnerable people here, people that cannot speak for themselves, and I think it's important that we stand up and speak for them, because the service is just too important here to the peninsula.
The cost of cutting trees damaged by Storm Isha in Donegal last year was €125,000. The storm caused much disruption in the county, with trees torn down and roads blocked. The Donegal County Council has confirmed they've submitted costs to the department. That application to date has proved unsuccessful. Councillor Patrick McGowan believes some responsibility lies with landowners.
A lot of engineers and staff on the council are saying, well, a lot of these trees were in dangerous condition to begin with. Surely the landowners that were warned about looking about the trees, particularly along county roads, national primary roads and things like that, where trees can come down, but to the grace of God, someone could have been killed. But there has been damage done, and the question is asked now, is it back to the taxpayer again, where nobody takes responsibility for dangerous trees, overhanging roads?
Junior doctors in Northern Ireland are spending the day on the picket lines. They're on strike for the first time ever in a row over pay and conditions. With more, here's Tara Griffith.
Here at the Royal Victoria Hospital in Belfast, junior doctors are gathering for a day of action. The mood is one of defiance, and you may be able to hear the bagpipes behind me with lots of car horns from passers-by. I spoke to Fiona Griffin from the BMA.
More and more doctors are choosing to leave the profession. Lots of doctors are going over to Australia and New Zealand because the work-life balance is much better, they're paid much better, and every time a doctor leaves it puts more pressure on the folks who do stay.
The Department of Health says it remains open to negotiations.
Weather forecast rather cloudy but staying mostly dry, with only a few isolated patches of light rain. Southeast breezes freshening with higher temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees Celsius today. Cloudy and perhaps a little damp this evening with a fresh southeasterly breeze. Lowest overnight temperatures 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. A cloudy start tomorrow with some patchy light rain, but sunny spells will develop by the afternoon, becoming mostly dry on Thursday with southeasterly breeze persisting. Top temperatures tomorrow 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news headlines again at 11. Check all of today's news, of course, on our website, highlandradio.com. But for now, from the news team, have a very good morning.
The obituary notice says for this Wednesday morning, March the 6th. The death has occurred of Tess Green, Roisin Maharay. Tess's remains will repose at her home from 11 o'clock this morning, with rosary at 8 o'clock, and tomorrow with rosary at 9 o'clock. Funeral Mass on Friday morning at 11 o'clock in St Patrick's Church, Mina Cross, with cremation to follow in Cavan at a later date. House private from after the rosary until 11 o'clock and on the morning of the funeral. The death has taken place of Sadie Calhoun, Ballylar, Fanid. Wake and funeral arrangements to be confirmed later. The death has taken place of Maria Miller, née Sinclair, 36 Avish Road, Strabane. Service of thanksgiving for the life of Maria will be held in Christchurch, Strabane, tomorrow afternoon at 1:30, followed by interment in Strabane Cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to chest, heart and stroke made payable to Robert Armstrong and Son Funeral Directors. The death has occurred of Noel Malach, Cronalahi Crossroads, Killygordon. Funeral leaving from his late residence tomorrow morning at 10:15 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Crossroads, Killygordon at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining churchyard. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live on the parish YouTube channel. The house is private to family, close friends and neighbours, please. And the death occurred on February the 6th in England of Terence Terry Kelly, formerly of Newton Cunningham, County Donegal. Reception into Corpus Christi Church, Littleton Road, Stetchford tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Requiem Mass will take place on Friday morning at 11 o'clock, followed by burial at Oscott College Cemetery, Hawthorne Brook Way, New Oscott. Family flowers only. Donations in lieu if desired for Stroke Association, Kerv C. Bastock Funeral Directors Limited, Birmingham. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
I've hidden it where we spent months scraping wallpaper, reflooring, grouting, wiring, rewiring, and I'm not sure we'll ever be done. It was a shell, but we're making it a home. That's where you'll find it.
With the Cadbury Worldwide Hide, you can hide an Easter egg online for someone you love. You just need to give them a clue of where to look. Somewhere only they know. Search online for the Cadbury Worldwide Tide. Ireland 18 plus, T's and C's apply.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. We are broadcasting live from the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh. We're celebrating Your Voice, Your Community. It's part of International Women's Day within the Shown Development Partnership, and we've just come out actually into... And for those watching your show, or watching the show, you'll see what's going on here. There's loads of stuff going on, in fact. They're just setting things up. The doors aren't officially open yet, and it's really quite... as we talked about a little earlier on, we'll be speaking to before that. I can see food. Oh my God, I'm hungry. And I can see some pop-up stands from the likes of the Innishowen Development Partner, health communities and what have you. And a really big crowd here at the Colgan Hall. Sorry if I'm dropping out a little bit there. As I say, we've got loads of guests coming up, including some live music from the Ukrainian or a Ukrainian choir. Just some of your comments coming in here. Hi, good morning, Greg. Is it true that no men are allowed at Buncrana Garda Station coffee morning to facilitate women of certain cultural backgrounds? I normally take my elderly parents, but not sure what to do. I know it's International Women's Day, but men always could go to if they wanted to. Thanks. Unfortunately, that's a bit of false information that's been spread out there. We have double checked just to be on the safe side. I presumed it was not true, and it is not true. That coffee day is open to all, and everyone's welcome and to go along there and have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, some treats, and support supported on the day. Back to the rules of the road. The rules of the road states approaching a roundabout, the left lane is for the first and second exit off the roundabout unless road markings show otherwise, which further confuses the whole situation at the Tulliol roundabout, for an example, because that means that we're all wrong. I don't know. Anyway, all right, it is the 9 till noon show, as I say. Stay right with us. Just to invite you to watch the show if you want to. You can do so, and Shannon, show our lovely viewers what we're seeing here. You can watch the show as well on X. We're on Highland Radio. We're on YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, and we're on Facebook, Highland Hub, Highland News and Sport. We'll be joined by our next guests in our studio after we take this quick commercial break for the bingo numbers.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Wednesday the 6th of March. You're playing on the blue sheet. The reference number is S8. It's game number 10. The numbers are 71, 42, 20, 82, 54, 15, 62, 33, 55, and finally 26. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
With a high digital online skills course, you'll feel a real difference.
I can listen to all the music I like. The bus app that's coming out, it's brilliant.
Anything you want to know, it's at your fingertips.
They're small things, but they mean something.
Learn essential online skills with simple, accessible lessons at highdigital.ie or free phone 1800 20 30 30. Brought to you by Vodafone Foundation and Alone. Vodafone. Together we can.
It's all kicked off at Brian McCormick Sports with new football boots in FG or SG. Try the new Adidas Predator in classic black, red, white. Puma King boots in many options from only $49.99 in adult sizes. Match it up with shorts and socks, gloves and gum shields. Click on bmcsports.ie.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Now, you're very welcome back to the programme. Our next guest on the show joins us right now, and that's Patricia Higgins, one of the Connecting Communities officers with the Inishowen Development Partnership. Patricia, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Greg.
It's good to have you on board. And you're relatively new into this position, aren't you? Just a little over a week. So bedding in.
Bedding in, yes. I work part-time. So this is officially day 11 in the job. So I've been in at the deep end. But sure, that's
it sounds like you're marking the X's off on the calendar, but I'm sure it's much more enjoyable than that.
Well, this interview did make me start marking the X's, but yeah, no, it's great.
Well, listen, Patricia, as is always the case, once it's over, you'll be thinking, what was I concerned about?
Indeed.
If you were concerned at all. Right, what is your role then, Patricia?
Okay, so myself and my colleague Maggie, we both work part-time with the Inishowen Development Partnership. And I guess the role has a number of functions. One is to support new communities within Inishowen. And at the moment there's a focus on the people who've come seeking international protection, who are all within Inishowen. They're based in Buncrana. And then apart from that, it's to support integration. So looking at how the locals within Inishowen connect and creating spaces and opportunities for people to connect with people from new communities.
Is that a bit of a challenge? Because, I think I have to choose my words carefully because I'm only kind of really going by from what I see. But it seems that, somewhere like Buncrana, if you look at the rest of Donegal, there seems to be more polarised views on new members of the community.
I think that those who have the strong anti-views shout loud. I think I know there's enormous good work and goodwill going on, not just in Buncrana, but across the peninsula. I've been involved in some of it in an individual capacity myself, where I come from over in Moville. I know the Exchange, for example, in Buncrana and Buncrana for All have been doing a power of work to welcome people. And I know that there are instances of that there's evidence of that, an ongoing welcoming work going on all across the peninsula. In Malin, in Newton Cunningham, I'm going to forget some places now, but
no, I get you, yeah.
So I guess part of our role is to support that and sustain that, and to allow people who want to offer a welcome, to give them opportunities to do that. It can be hard. As I was telling your researcher yesterday, I grew up in a town in the north, which was Catholic and Protestant, and we never met, never ever.
Yeah.
So
a lot of this isn't new to us.
So, well, I guess it's really important to create the spaces where people who are coming from different backgrounds get a chance to meet and connect. And realise the connections that they have between each other. So
do you think sometimes the anti-immigration, if I can call it that, opinion is amplified, over-amplified? Maybe it's over-represented in the public discourse?
Well...
I'm going back to the comment you says that sometimes, those are the voices that shout loudest.
I think it can be hard. They're a very strong voice. It can be hard to stand up against them. And I think that it's important to... sorry, you asked me, do they get
over-amplified?
I think they're really savvy, and I think they may have resources.
And I suppose really to simplify that, because I kind of painted you into quite a complex corner there, is that really maybe the majority are more welcoming.
Yes, but I think for people to, I guess what I'm saying when I draw on my experience from the north is, if you don't have the opportunities to connect and meet and realise what you have in common with people, then the voices that tell you that those differences are significant can gain traction. And suppose that there's a lot of work going on to create those spaces already in Inishowen and across Donegal and beyond. And I guess my role and Maggie's role is to support that, and where there are gaps to try and find.
And when you look over the balcony here, you see people of so many different backgrounds, mixing and milling around and getting to know each other, if they don't know each other already. So, what is the IPAS experience like? What do you hear from these people?
Okay, so IPAS, for those who aren't familiar with the term, is the International Protection Accommodation Service. So it would it has replaced direct provision. So people come, and where previously they would have stayed in Dublin and had a range of supports for a period of up to perhaps 6 weeks or 2 months, now they're being, because of the demands on the system, they're being put straight to into centres around the country. They're managed by local people. And we're very lucky in Moncrana. The managers in the 2 IPAS centres are very proactive in terms of doing the basic stuff for the people who arrive, getting PPS numbers and getting kids into school. They're very on the ball around that. So the experience then is people come, they submit their application for international protection, which is a claim that they have a well-founded fear of harm were they to return to their country of origin. So that's the basis on which they can come here and seek asylum.
Do you have any sense, not official figures, as to how many, like, are you dealing with, or have your colleagues dealt with many people that have had their applications rejected?
My understanding, I have colleagues who work in this in Dublin, I have friends who work in this area in Dublin. So I have a figure of, I believe that if you're from what's now deemed a safe country, you have only a 10% chance of having your application accepted. And I understand that the figure is you have somewhere around 40 to 50% chance of getting your application.
And of course, the safe countries list has been expanded.
It has indeed, yes.
Quite recently. So what are, and then obviously once the IPAS applicants have been here for a certain amount of time, they are entitled to work, aren't
yes,
they? And there is also a difference between the state support for IPAS applicants versus, say, for instance, Ukrainian refugees.
Yes, I understand that the conditions for the Ukrainian incoming Ukrainian beneficiaries of temporary protection, that has changed and is now more aligned.
Yes.
I don't fully know the details of that, but I do know that, yes, compared to what the original Ukrainian beneficiaries of temporary protection were receiving, which is more in line with Irish social welfare.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's in the news again today. It is a complex and ever-moving situation. So what kind of supports are you offering the people that you work with, asylum seekers?
Well, I guess our key role is to signpost, because already it's not to duplicate. We're not offering specific asylum seekers. Many of them, as you say, once they get their work permits, they want access to training and employment. So we're signposting them to my colleagues, say, in the Initial and Development Partnership. We have an extensive employment support team, so we'd be signposting them there. We'd be signposting them to ETB English classes and there's a whole variety of English classes being offered on various bases around the peninsula. We'd also, I guess, we just completed a funding application yesterday to the government department that oversees integration, and in it we were asking for something that would be specific to asylum seekers, in recognition of the fact that many of them, 10 to 15% of them, will have been victims of torture, and many more of them will have suffered trauma. So trying to do trauma-informed wellness opportunities for them to offer psychotherapy, counselling, that would be tailored to their particular needs.
And just going back to the importance of integration, and there are a few initiatives, this is amongst them. The Coffee Hub as well?
The Cafe Hub, yes, in
Sorry,
Moville.
I'm a wee bit common. Sorry, the Coffee Hub.
No, I thought you said Coffee Hub. But
I did, that's exactly what I said.
The cafe, okay.
But I meant the Cafe Hub.
I'm a tea person, so I get defensive about...
I'm a coffee person, but there's no coffee here.
So that's what you're looking for on the door?
No! No. Are you trying to throw me under the bus, Patricia? We were friends.
Certainly not.
Cafe Hub.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I get defensive when tea is getting missed.
I'm defensive as well.
Yes.
We shall organise a duel.
Excellent. I'm one of those tea drinkers who gets peeved when there's no biscuit with the...
You're one of them.
I'm one of them.
What were we talking about? The cafe.
We're talking
about the importance of integration, understanding each other, and breaking down barriers, isn't it? Misconceptions.
Yeah, and being able to. I took two of the women who have cooked today you asked me how we support the
Yes.
women, giving them opportunities to use their talents, giving them opportunities to solve what they need to address their needs is a huge part of how we're meant to approach the work. But so we had 10 volunteers who have cooked for us today. I went shopping with them in Letterkenny to find the stuff that you can't get in Irish supermarkets. It was like walking into an Aladdin's den. All of this stuff that some of which herbs at rock bottom prices, but then other ingredients I've never heard of in my life. Yeah. So it was fascinating
stuff.
Absolutely, and fascinating to be with two Nigerian women as they work their way around the shop. So for me, that's very enriching to be in a place I've never been before and to do it in the safety and company of two women who kind of shepherded me within it. Yeah. So that's just a small example of the power of integration. I had a chat with another man who studied the same as me in college. He studied in Saudi, and years ago I had met someone from Syria, and we had discovered that the word for jumper in Arabic is very like the word for jumper in Irish, Ganzi. So I stand to be corrected on that, but I had the opportunity to ask this gentleman who studied economics in Saudi. I said, tell me now, what is the word in Arabic for? So I love that, that you come away with a sense of, wow, I wonder what's behind that linguistic connectivity.
What do the asylum seekers so say to you? Do you know what I mean about what it's like here? Do they feel safe and secure? Are they aware of what appears to be sort of a growing resistance to them being here, them being labelled as, single military-aged males or what have you? And people have their views, and I respect that. But is there an awareness of that, or are they more familiar with the welcome side of things?
There are two groups because of the two centres. So one group have been here for a year, mostly. Another group have only been here for a couple of months because the centre, people might know it in Moncton as the old HSE. It has been only open since December. So those who have been here for a short time, some of them are very positive about their experiences, really positive, have only had positive experiences. Unfortunately, those who have been here for longer have had experiences of racism and not many, but I am hearing, and there has been research done on this locally by some of the community groups. The Exchange, for example, did something on racism and inclusion last year and found evidence of it. And sadly, anecdotally, that has increased since the IPAS centres have opened.
Yeah, and of course we have seen arson attempts here, which is obviously people are going to be aware of.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. We've a lot of working through to do in this country. I'm kind of an observer, if you know what I mean, wondering where we're going and how we're going to get there. But that's, you've a role to play in that as well, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's really important. I have colleagues in the Innishowen Development Partnership who work on change makers. So they speak about development issues and understanding global issues and the local impact of those. And I think that asylum seekers are really at the cutting edge of that. International protection applicants, because of climate change, because of because of moving global forces, people do have to seek asylum, and that's a reality of our increasingly globalized world. And so their work helps give me a context for the work that I do.
Okay, Margaret Duffy on Facebook says, "Hello, Patricia. Very good, informative interview. Well done."
Margaret is a colleague at the Cafe Hub in Mobile.
The Cafe Hub. Okay, listen. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been lovely chatting to you, Patricia. Hopefully it wasn't as bad as you anticipated as you marked those X's off.
Indeed. Greg, thank you very much.
Thanks, Patricia. That's Patricia Higgins, one of the connecting community officers with the Inishowen Development Partnership. And we're speaking to Patricia in the context of our visit here to the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh, celebrating Your Voice, Your Community. It's part of International Women's Day with Inishowen Development Partnership and, of course, the Inishowen Co-op. We've got so much more for you on this special programme coming up, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more after.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Celebrate Mum this Mother's Day with something special from Dunnes Stores. Treat her to an indulgent box of chocolates like Nestle Black Magic, Cadbury Milk Tray or Nestle Dairy Box, all just €5 each. And spoil her with a beautiful bouquet of flowers, available in-store from the 7th of March. Plus, you can save at the till with a 5 off 25 grocery voucher. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next in-store grocery shop of €25 or more.
Are your small appliances due an upgrade? Irwin Expert Electrical, your ultimate destination for all things electrical. From stylish toasters and kettles to innovative coffee machines and air fryers. Or elevate your tech game with our selection of smartwatches, iPads, laptops and phones, and TVs from all your top brands. Stay connected with Irwin Expert Electrical, Letterkenny and Buncrana.
Are you building, rebuilding or renovating? What heat pumps or solar panels would suit your build? Come along and speak to the experts, Efficient Renewables on heat pumps and solar panels. Get advice on installation and grants available. Visit the Efficient Renewables showroom in Newton Cunningham and see these products in operation for yourself.
Kia is now making it easier to go green, offering 0% finance on the all-new Kia Niro. With an impressive 460-kilometre range on a single charge, the Niro ensures you can go the distance without compromise. Visit imotors.ie today and avail of this limited offer.
Step into Evolve Clothing at Letterkenny Retail Park for a vast suiting selection. 2- and 3-piece suits in all sizes and styles. Explore our suiting department and discover unbeatable value and wedding packages.
Hello, Donegal. It's Michael Murphy here, letting you know that I'll be in on Greenon in Letterkenny on Saturday, March 16th with my new show, The Mysterious Case of Kitsy Rainey. It's a follow-up to The Man in the Woman's Shoes and I Hear You, Andrew Joyce. And if you come along, we'll have the crack. March 16th on Greenon, Letterkenny.
You're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here in Highland Radio. Keep your texts and calls coming into us, please, if you don't mind. You can WhatsApp or text us on 086 60 25,000 or give us a call on 074 91 25,000 on any issue you wish, or if you have any interaction which you wish to partake in as part of the conversations we're having. I'm joined on the programme now by Fatima Mohammed Hassan, and I'm really pleased to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, welcome.
How long have you been in Ireland now?
Yeah, I have been nearly 4 months.
And how has your experience been?
You said what?
How have you settled into life in Ireland?
Yeah, the life of Ireland is very good. In fact, it's very attractive. Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about your life in southern Somalia. What was life like there for you?
Oh, okay. First of all, my name is Fatima Mohammed Hassan. I'm a Somali girl from Somalia, especially a town called Beled Hawa town in southwestern Somalia. My country, Somalia, has gone through decades of civil war. Currently, Somalia is divided into 2 areas. Areas that under the control of Somali government and the area where the Al-Shabaab terrorist organization rule. My country's population is of 17 million people, more than half of them being women and girls. Women in my country play a crucial role in all area of life. There is also what's called GBV, gender-based violence, and harmful practice such as FGM that specifically concern about women.
And how is that widespread? When you talk of gender-based violence, is that the experience of every woman in Somalia, or what women are the victims of that, or is it all women?
Yeah, always women are the victim of these things, because Somali women always use and practices these harmful things. FGM, that's a female genital mutilation. Yeah.
And this happens often when women are very young.
Yeah, very young. When they are very young, yeah, that's the time they practice.
Yeah, and but women have a very important role in Somalian society.
Yes, women has a backbone of Somali society. are the one who always work for the family. A good example of a strong and hardworking woman is my mother, Khadija. My mother tried her best to make sure to go her children to school in order to succeed in life. She did her best to educate them, and she succeeded in her life. In fact, I love my mother and I missed her. I celebrate her dedication all the time, and especially a day like this.
You talk about a civil war, which means obviously primarily men fighting or men absent from the home, which puts more pressure on the mother to care for a family, to look after them, to provide for them, ensure their education.
Yeah, the women, as I said, my country experienced a civil war. That time, the men were busy fighting against each other. Women are the ones who bring the basic needs for the family.
Why did you decide to leave Somalia and move to Ireland?
In fact, in Somalia, I have a good life there. I was since I'm educated, I was working there, but there's a problem that made me here to come, and because.
Did you feel unsafe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel safe here. Because,
okay.
Yeah.
And you have your children with you?
Yeah, I have children. I have 6 children. 4 of them are with me now. Another 2, plus my mom, plus my younger sister that I raised her, I left in Somalia.
Do you hope that they could join you here?
In fact, I miss them. In fact, I left them. Today, a day like this, International Day, we always celebrate together, always to remember the role of my mom. My younger sister, that's our last born of our family. The when I raised her in my house, we always celebrate. Last night, we cried to each other.
Yeah.
That means we are not together, but I'm expecting one time to be together, to be socialized the way we used, to be celebrate the next International Day together.
Do you expect that to be here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in other words, you don't intend to return to Somalia because you don't feel safe.
Yeah, Somalia, it's not safe.
As you mentioned, you're well educated and you were working in Somalia. Are you able to work here? Do you want to work here, or you're raising your family? What's your situation here?
Yes, I want to work here, and I want to go to learn. For example, I am a social worker and a community development there. And now my hope is one day to become a nurse. I want to learn a nurse now, since I'm getting opportunity here.
How is life for your children in Irish schools? I'm not sure. Can they speak English? Are they learning English? Is it difficult for them?
In fact, my children, they were English speakers. Children.
Better than yours, even perhaps.
Because
and yours
their
is
mom
excellent.
and their father, they are educated. We always use in English in our house. In fact, it's good to see my children today, how they talk to you. It is very wonderful. Even the schools are satisfied with them, how they behave, how they learn, how they understand everything. More than children, I can say.
And this is, obviously the event today is just getting underway. Is it interesting for you to meet women of different backgrounds, to get together with other women on International Women's Day? I would say particularly as you miss your mother, who you speak so highly of.
In fact, it is very interesting to meet with these all different people, different faces of different women. It is happiest for me today to meet with them, since International Women's Day is a day of interaction. It is a day of socialization. It is a day of learning each other and learning new faces. So it is very good for me to be part of with this with them.
Do you? I hope the answer is yes. But do you feel happy and safe walking around Ireland?
Yeah, in fact, I feel happy and safe. You know, the people of here is open-hearted, loving, welcoming. They have all good things that someone have.
Okay, well, it's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say, or are you happy enough?
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Although,
You've done enough.
although I miss my parents and my people and there, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, still I have people here who always welcoming me, always with me. I don't have enough.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think particularly today, as you miss your mother, it's nice to be around other people when we feel lonely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't replace them, but it makes you feel a bit... Listen, thank you so very much for joining us. It's been lovely having you on the programme.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Fatima Mohammed Hassan, who is from southern Somalia. And I was just talking about her experience of International Women's Day in Somalia, and of course her experience celebrating International Women's Day here. This is the 9 till noon show, live from the Colgan Hall in beautiful Carndonagh. Just to remind those just tuning in, we're celebrating Your Voice, Your Community. It's part of International Women's Day with Inishowen Development Partnership and the Inishowen Co-op. Okay, we're going to take a quick break as we line up our next guest. Stay tuned, much more on the way.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Hosa give blood punkai eager federlin vehe brahariv. Pobl Joan Tori folla dorgrid, le veher fall de rine elle agus iad de grú chos. Is federle Joan Tori realta kine I yanav a give blood punkai e. Nu treat glecha chur a hen hocht a náid, a shacht a trí a hen a trí a shacht. Hos a 4 hocht doch Joan Tori no aim shoe. Tour court ar CF Graesáin, chuin in cháile hocht agus sunri clinicí a cheáil, Homie de Brahart.
Mary here from McGee's Pharmacy to let you know that Loncombe have a great beauty gift available this week. Buy 2 Loncombe products, one of them to be skincare, and you will get a free 5-piece gift containing a full-size bifacial eye makeup remover, a choice of 2 travel-size creams, and more iconic Loncombe products. This is available until Saturday the 23rd of March or while stocks last. Some T's and C's apply. For any skincare advice, you can always talk to Gemma or myself here at McGee's Pharmacy on Main Street, Letterkenny.
Creative Landscaping Works are the Donegal distributors of millboard cladding and decking. Thanks to its unique polymer resin construction, this decking and cladding doesn't deteriorate like natural wood and won't be beaten for durability. It also has superb slip resistance, even when wet, and every board is produced using recycled materials. Live life outside with millboard at Creative Landscaping Works, Lisnen and Letterkenny. See creativelandscapingworks.com.
The Highland Radio Birthday Bash featuring Margot and special guests. Tickets are €30 each and are now available at Highland Radio, the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny, Alexander's Bally Buffet, Simpsons Bar, Carndonagh, and the Cope Dunlow. For further information, call the station on 9125,000 or check out the outlet at highlandradio.com.
A Highland Radio weather update with Ireland West Airport. Time to book that business trip to London. Fly daily to London Stansted and Luton with Ryanair and London Heathrow with Aer Lingus. Ireland West Airport. Don't just take off, take it easy.
Okie doke. Rather cloudy but staying mostly dry with a few isolated patches of light rain. Southeast breezes will freshen with highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. Cloudy and perhaps a little damp this evening with a fresh southeasterly breeze. Lowest temperatures overnight are chilly enough, 4 to 6 degrees. You're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show. We have 2 guests in studio with us now, in our makeshift studio, although it's quite nice. Laura Campbell, who is a young farmer. Hi, Laura.
How are we getting on?
How long do you think you can call yourself a young farmer for?
Hopefully another couple of years anyways.
Okay. And also we've got Jane Gamble, who is a farmer as well. Hi, Jane.
How are you?
It's great to have you with us. Jane, I'll start with you, if that's okay. How long have you been farming?
For a long, long time. We started in I was born on a farm.
So I always knew a wee bit about farming, a small farm. But then we started milking cows in 1976, I think it was. And we milked 20 cows by hand, myself and my husband, the first year. Then we got a milking machine. So basically that's when we started. We went up to about 75 cows, but then we delivered our milk door to door, so we were very, very busy.
Yeah, those were, I would say, particularly doing it manually. I remember seeing that myself,
Yes.
and it's, I was going to say it's labour intensive. It's certainly
Yes, we were very
time
busy.
intensive. Can only imagine what it was like when the mechanical milker landed on scene. It must have been just the excitement and
It was
relief.
excitement, it was a great buzz, and when we delivered the milk in bottles, pint bottles at that time, all around our neighbours and the local area, and our customers were all wonderful. We got a great buzz out of being at everybody's door every day, 365 days a year.
And you worked always on the family farm, did you?
Yes.
And did you then take it over, or?
No, my husband died 20 years ago, so
Oh,
we
sorry.
continued on for another wee while, myself and my son and daughter, Robin and Maureen. And then 7 years ago, we retired.
Mm-hmm.
Old age and things like that.
Well, now come here. You just
But
wanted.
we did enjoy it.
It's
We
something
really-
in
we
old
really,
age.
really-
You wanted a different lifestyle. You've.
Yeah, we're
I'm
enjoying it.
Sure, you
Yeah.
can still be at it, but a tough. And was that sort of the whole family retired from farming?
Yes,
then?
the whole lot
I
of
would
us.
say that was a tough decision too, because I would say a lot of
was.
it you keep going. You keep going in your husband's memory, and sort of, you know,
That's kinda
you hope
true,
to
yeah.
kick it on another generation. But it
Yeah.
obviously wasn't just the
No,
direction.
No.
But it was a
That's-
tough call, was it?
It kind of was, but my son wasn't interested in the responsibility of running a farm
Yeah.
at all, so why should he then?
And were you glad for him, or?
You know, I was happy enough that he, like, there's no point in somebody farming if you're not happy with
Yeah.
it. So, you know, we've leased it now.
Yeah.
But we did enjoy it when we were busy, and being young was a big help.
Yeah.
And we were never too busy to enjoy badminton and bowls in the winter and tennis in the summer. And that would be my advice to any farmer nowadays. Some of them work very hard, too hard, and life's short.
Yeah.
And working too hard and not having time for your family is a big no-no.
Yeah, and I think it's certainly a case in farming, not specific to farming. I think that's probably good advice for lots of people.
Yes, yeah.
That sometimes, you know, we focus so much on our work, and next thing you know,
Yeah, boom, boom.
next thing you know, boom. Yes, that's
At
it.
my age, I've been to a lot of graveyards lately, and mind you, it's very quiet in there.
Yeah.
There's no buzz.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
I like to enjoy. I think we should enjoy life when they can. A nice mixture of work and play.
get the life balance right, and you did that, as you say, with the.
We did that.
outside
We did that, and I'm glad we did that because my husband was dead at 69 years of age.
Yeah, too young. Are you surprised? What do you see as the future of farming? And the future of farming is probably sitting to your right, and we're going to
Yes,
speak to Laura in a
exactly,
moment.
and
But do you think there is a strong future for farming?
I think there is, and I think the women today will make a very good job of what they do. I think they will.
Laura Campbell, you grew up on the farm as well. Your story actually really quite similar to Jane's, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I was born on a farm. I would have spent a lot of time farming with my grandparents when my mum and dad was at work. So I kind of just developed a love for it. And
Were you sort of, when you landed there, it was like, right, what are we doing today?
yeah, basically
Sort of
just
stuff.
falling around in my wee pink welly boots.
Yeah, exactly, and I see those young people in my family as well. So you got the bug early on.
Yeah,
Right.
never got rid of it.
So then there comes a time though when it's not, you know, sort of it's time to with the grandparents and the parents and stuff. But then it's like, well, you know, you sort of looking at what you're doing at school and thinking, could this be a career for me? Like, how early do you think that you thought that you would have a career as a farmer?
Probably since secondary school, even doing ag science in Carndonagh school there, it was always probably one of my favourite subjects. And then I decided then very early on in secondary school that I was going to go on and do agriculture in college. I went up to LYT for 4 years and got first class honours in agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So after that then I started in the co-op. I've been there now for 2.5 years, around that.
And what does the ag science sort of bring to farming? Do you know what I mean? From your perspective, how do you sort of bring your education into the practice side of things?
You just seem to have a better idea of what's happening and why it's happening. So like grass is down to soil fertility and stuff like that there. It just gives you a better idea, whereas before you would have just looked maybe at a field and thought that grass isn't growing as well as it should be, and then you're kind of more into the scientific end of things, and you look at it probably more like a business as well in a certain way, through different modules on business management and stuff like that there.
And just as Jane was talking there, and it was sound advice about having that work-life balance, you've already really established that that's if this is your future, you have to have your life outside of farming as well. So is that, when you talk about treating it as a business, is that sort of how you then try and make some time for yourself as well?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's important to make time for yourself. There is times, busier times, lambing and stuff, where you will have to cut back, but then you will get other times where it's quieter maybe, and you can go on your nights out and stuff like that there. But there's plenty of nights I went up to feed sheep and have makeup and all on. So
Jane, did you ever full face of makeup feeding, milking the house? No.
Oh no. I don't think makeup was invented then.
Come here. No, I know what you're saying though. So, and Laura, they say, you know, if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life, don't they? It's a tough old slog, but you love what you do, don't you?
Yeah. No, it's definitely important to love it, because especially wintertime, dark evenings and dark mornings, and it's wet, you just don't want to be going and feeding and doing whatever. But if you do love it, it does encourage you to get up and get going.
I just wonder, with your ag science background and what have you, and maybe your approach to farming, how do you see this whole sort of farming versus climate change, climate crisis debate? Like, are you of the mindset that maybe farmers are being asked to do too much heavy lifting, or do you look at the science and say, look, there are ways, and we are doing things in a different way that's more environmentally friendly? How does that sit with you, that whole conversation?
I think I'm probably 50-50. I think there is some things, maybe and certain things that farmers can improve on, but again, it's not just down to farmers in certain cases. You know, like they can improve on fertilizer and water quality and stuff like that. There can be something that farmers can directly improve on, but there's a lot of indirect things that.
You know, and I think even something as simple as water quality, I think if a farmer, it has to be demonstrated to them that something is their fault. Or we saw down in the southwest of the country, whereby farming practices changed, pollution reduced, but the nitrates directive still changed. And, you know, I think if you're in the industry, you're going, well, you know, we're trying our best here. Can you reward us for what we're doing? Because compared to a lot of places, you know, we are farming more sustainable than most. You know, you need to be rewarded for the efforts that you make, don't you? Or you need to feel that that's happening.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's no point doing all these different measures and following all the rules, and then you're still getting penalised at the end. It's it's unencouraging, so it is.
So you stroll into the co-op in Carn, right?
Mm-hmm.
First time. Confident swagger and all that kind of stuff. Mostly fellas.
Yeah.
Do you have to win over the respect of them?
Not really. Most of the men in the co-op there, they're all very, very encouraging.
But do you have to prove your knowledge, sort of a thing? Is there a bit of that? I don't think that's even gender related. I think if I walked in there, I'd think, oh, what's going on here, until you sort of proved you knew what you were talking about.
People would definitely be more wary, I would say, customers and stuff coming in, and even if it was a male or a female, a new face is always, you're like, what do they know, and do you know, different kind of things. But once you've been in for a wee while, everyone kind of comes to the same.
Of course. What I asked Jane about the future of farming. Do you worry that you're the last generation of farmers?
Not really.
Okay.
I see a lot of young girls, young boys seem to become more and more interested in farming. I think social media has played a big part in it.
Yeah.
TikTok and stuff like that. It's like farming's becoming more of a trend. Like,
are you on TikTok?
No, well, I don't make farming TikToks.
Why not?
Probably should start.
I think you'd be doing well. Yeah, indeed. Okay. And you do sheep farming.
Yeah.
Suckler cows and horses as well.
Yeah.
And is the horses also, is that a business side of things, or is that a bit of the leisure side of things?
A bit of both. We have Connemara mares that we use
right.
for breeding. We haven't breeding now in a couple of years. And then I have an X-race horse as well for.
Okay.
Just to get out and about in the evenings time and the good weather and stuff like that.
Did it win anything?
No, never won anything, so I didn't.
Was it all cows with you, Jane, or what was the story?
All cows.
All cows.
Dairy cows, just that was all.
That was the thing, all right.
And
okay.
milk. And milk.
And milk. And we're going to be speaking to a lady later on makes butter. That's you?
That's me too, yes.
Well, that's not on my notes. Tell me about the butter. You're still making butter?
Yes, it's not a business, but I just do it.
Is that your the
yeah,
glass thing that you churn it there,
yes,
right? Talk to me about making butter, Jane. You dropped this bombshell very late.
It's very simple, actually. Fresh cream. You can make it out of fresh cream,
Yes.
or you can make it from cream that you sour. It takes about 4 or 5 days to get it nice and sour. And then whenever you make the butter, what's left behind is buttermilk, which is used in yogurt making or in bread making, or you can drink it.
Yes.
And but what I've done today is just I'm using fresh cream, and you just put some water, clean cold water in through it, and churn it, and there's your butter. Rinse it and put a bit of salt in it.
That's exactly what I was going to ask about you, because a lot of the I love butter.
Yes,
you know, like I have toast with my butter. Do you know that
well,
sort of
I'll
thing?
give you a sample this evening to take home with you.
Well, don't make promises you won't keep. Okay.
Have some
Put a
already
bit of extra salt in mine. Will you say
yes,
nothing?
we'll do that for have some there now.
Okay,
Ready
looking forward to going down and seeing that, actually.
Okay.
All jokes aside, I'll have it as you would recommend it. Okay. And you do that, but it's doable. Lots of people, anyone can make butter.
Anybody
once
can
they
make
have
butter. Very, very simple to make.
All right.
Very simple.
Good stuff. What do you, when you see Laura sort of at the start of her career, Jane, and you've got so many stories when you with your hubby and then after your hubby that you could talk about too. Do you go, oh, get out of it now, or do you go, well, fair play to you, enjoy your life?
No, I would like to think she would enjoy it as much as we did, but then that was a different time. When all this paperwork and regulations came along, it kind of took the edge off.
How do you deal
me.
with the paperwork side of it, Laura? Is that, again, the sort of the business approach? Because the paperwork kind of was dumped on Jane's family. It became a thing and it got worse. Then it was papers, then it was computers. But you sort of, I suppose you came into the industry when that was established. So is it tough applying for everything and dotting the T's and crossing the I's, or the other way around?
Yeah, no, it is definitely tough, but I have a lot of help as well. Our farm advisor and my mother would help a lot with paperwork and stuff like that, so I'm not my own in it, which is good.
Okay, now, so when you go feeding the sheep with full makeup on, right, Paula wants to know, is that before you're going out or on your way home after going out?
Before, usually. I don't know if I'd be fit on the way home.
I don't know what that means. All right, brilliant stuff. Listen, it's been wonderful speaking to both of you. Jane, looking forward to sampling your butter. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed, Jane Gamble. Do you still play the bowls, or did you give that up? Or
not really. We just haven't since COVID. It's sort of slid away.
I know,
you know,
it's crazy, isn't it? Okay,
but we'll get back.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get back. That's the thing. So Jane Gamble, thank you very much for joining us. It's been lovely speaking to you, and also Laura Campbell. Lovely chatting to you too. I think the future's bright, isn't it, Jane? In Laura's hands. So, yes. Okay, and we wish you continued success with everything that you're doing in the industry. Okay, thank you both of you very much indeed. Just to recap, that's Laura Campbell, a female farmer, and Jane Gamble, also a female farmer, but retired now. Okay, you are tuned to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Just a reminder for you that you can give us a WhatsApp or text on 086 60 25,000, 086 60 25,000, or call us on 074 91 25,000. Coming in the next hour, we've got loads of guests, including some live music for you. After listening to the woman from Somalia, I think we should be taking more into the country, says a listener. Another, hi Greg, do you or your listeners know if the €100 emergency department charge has been done away with? Thanks, great show. Let me check that out for you, because there's a €100 charge, and I think there's my recollection is a €100 charge and then a €50 charge with a referral letter from the GP. But anyway, I don't want to mislead you or give you wrong information. So we'll check that out and I will get back to you. Right, let us take a break. We're going to be back with the news after these.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Cada irinda bhála taistil, mála taistil cosú lomsa. Cada irinda bagásta dílis díra cosú lomsa. Tá is ag airport shannon. Cada irin dumsa marsin fiamach a crínig shannon airport.ie.
Parcáil achfana sládal gan stró, rochta néasca agus inid scríba dríachta, Paris nua áireach agus Lanzarote, de airport gan stró, tid féin agus do the bhála, curtús le sira ionfach ag shannonairport.ie.
If you're with FBD Insurance and your van gets robbed, it's not a flippin' bloomin' disaster. That's not what FBD stands for. FBD stands for support. We support van owners like you by covering your work tools up to the value of €500 if they're stolen with your van. FBD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Visit your local branch to talk to your FBD Insurance team. Requires valid van theft claim. Excludes electronics and software. T's and C's and normal underwriting criteria apply. Underwritten by FBD Insurance plc. FBD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FBD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Your smartphone is a wonderful tool, opening amazing ways to connect with friends, family and even businesses all over Ireland and across the world. Whether it's chatting to your family and friends on WhatsApp, grabbing a bargain by safely online shopping, or even doing all your daily banking needs through an app, your phone or tablet can help you do it all. If you wanted to learn how to use all these features on your device, now you can with High Digital, a free online skills course designed with older people in mind, available in person and online. So if you're ready to unlock your smartphone's potential or know someone who's always wanted to learn more online skills, go to highdigital.ie or call 1800 20 30 30 for more information. Brought to you by Vodafone Foundation and Alone.
Century Complex is the perfect destination for your family day out this Easter, with lots of options in backstage bar and grill, a selection of movies in Century Cinemas, and don't forget our Easter party in Century Play on Sunday the 31st of March from 10:30am to 12pm for that final hurrah before our extensive renovations begin. Check out our website at centurycinemas.ie.
Okay, we are back live here from the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh, and you might not be able to pick it up in the background, but the action is really getting underway. There's live music in there as well. What we're going to do is take the headlines, and maybe if you're watching the show, and if you're not watching the show, hop on and watch it. We're going to take you out onto the balcony here and have a look down at what is going on. But it is 11 o'clock, which means it's time for a news update, and it could be Michaela, it could be Donna Marie, or it could be Donald. Either way, you're going to get 2 minutes of cracking news. So we'll hand back to studio for the headlines at 11 o'clock.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A man has died following a crash on the A5 between Omagh and Ballygawley. The two-vehicle collision involving a white BMW and blue Scania lorry occurred on the Kerr Road shortly before 7:30 yesterday evening. The driver of the BMW, a 30-year-old man, was pronounced dead at the scene. The road remains closed at this time and local diversions are in place. Well, the North's Infrastructure Minister, meanwhile, has appealed to anyone considering another legal challenge to the A5 to think very carefully about their actions. Speaking during an Assembly debate, Minister John O'Dowd says he intends to make an announcement shortly following the latest public inquiry. He said work could start this year, but there are still potential pitfalls, including another legal challenge. The Dáil has been told that recent figures show a couple in Donegal would need a combined income of €80,000 to be able to afford a mortgage for a 3-bedroom semi-detached house, but anyone with an income over €80,000 is ineligible for inclusion on social housing lists. Deputy Podger McLaughlin says it's a disgrace that despite all the evidence, Donegal County Council is being forced to carry out a survey to establish the need for an affordable housing scheme in the county. A Midlands North West MEP has hit out at fellow MEPs who have tabled amendments to the report by the EU Petitions Committee on defective concrete blocks. The EPP group, which includes Fine Gael MEPs, has proposed the removal of wording pertaining to the introduction of legislative initiatives to provide more effective market surveillance over construction products. A further amendment has been put forward by the group seeking to introduce the concept of force majeure. Irish citizen Yasser Al-Jabouri has arrived home in Dublin from Iraq and has been reunited with his family. He landed at Dublin Airport this morning. Mr Al-Jabouri had been detained at Baghdad Airport over a week ago and was prevented from leaving the country. The terrorism threat for Northern Ireland has been lowered from severe to substantial. Britain's MI5 intelligence agency says this means an attack is likely as opposed to highly likely. Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Chris Heaton-Harris, says this is a positive step, but the public should remain vigilant. An Inishowen Council is seeking an urgent meeting with the HSE to discuss the future of the SRU unit in Carndonagh. The HSE previously announced a reconfiguration of mental health residential services in Donegal, which would see residents at the facility in Carndonagh relocated to centres elsewhere in the county. And the cost of cutting trees damaged by Storm Isha last year in Donegal was €125,000. The storm caused much disruption in the county, with trees torn down and roads blocked. Councillor Patrick McGowan believes some responsibility lies with homeowners with regards to tree cutting. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update again at 12 noon.
1 in 6 people in Ireland can feel locked out of life because they struggle with reading and understanding information. That's why this World Book Day, in partnership with Children's Books Ireland, An Post are donating and delivering thousands of free books to children who are experiencing homelessness, living in direct provision, or are in hospital. Because no matter the circumstance, every child should have access to the joy of reading. Living leaves a mark. Together, let's leave one we're proud of. An Post, for your world.
Okie dokie, very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. We are live from the Colgan Hall in Carndonagh, and I'm just going to creep out onto the balcony to see what's going on here. There is interviews taking place on stage, and if you're watching on our social medias, you will see there's a big crowd down there now at the moment. I can't go in there and disturb it, but anyway, I just wanted to give those of you watching a sense of what is going on. Right, okay, we are back seated in our studio now, and we are joined by our next guests here live from our, I'll give that to you, Joe, if that's okay, live from our OB position here upstairs in the Colgan Hall. Now we are joined in studio, as I mentioned, by our guests. They are Mary Kay Mullen, Fair Trade Product Seller. Good morning to you, Mary Kay. It's really good to have you on the show.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Thanks so much for calling up to us. And also, we have Kate O'Callaghan, Development Worker with Changemakers Donegal. Good morning to you, Kate.
Hello. Good morning, Greg.
Very enthusiastic. I love it. Okay. Now, talk to us a little bit about Changemakers, Kate.
Okay, well, so as you said, I'm the project worker with Changemakers. Changemakers is a global citizenship education project, and it's based here in Donegal. We're actually partnered with the Inishowen Development Partnership alongside the Donegal Education Training Board, the ETB, and 3 other organisations, Self-Help Africa, Trócaire and Concern. So the Changemakers project, the aim of the project is to support adults in the communities here in Donegal to understand and take action around local and global development issues, and to also to embed development education opportunities throughout the county.
So how, from a Donegal perspective, can we take part in the Fair Trade Fortnight? And be change makers, I suppose, at the same time.
Sure. Yeah. Great question. So the fair trade is it's actually an alternative approach to conventional trade. It's based on a partnership between some of the most disadvantaged farmers and producers and workers in the world and the people who buy their products, which is us essentially. So the way we can support them is to buy products with a fair trade symbol or a fair trade ethic behind their product. So we're running a number of campaigns actually currently in this year through Fair Trade Ireland, and that's to support a chocolate and getting chocolate into our supermarkets. So there's a particular chocolate at the moment called Tony's Chocolate Only Chocolate, and there's a campaign there to get shop owners locally to supply and stock that chocolate. Tony's Chocolate Only Chocolate is actually their mission is to make the chocolate industry slavery free and exploitation free, and there's a lot of there's a lot of connection to slavery within chocolate. Chocolate mainly comes from areas in South Africa, countries in South Africa, in Africa, where the slave trade is really bad, and children are trafficked every year.
And I think we want the choice. I don't think there's many consumers kind of want to be complicit in that.
No.
I would hope there wouldn't be. But if I go into your average supermarket, you know, are there fair trade products in there?
Yeah, so there are. I mean, you kind of have to look for them.
That's exactly the point I was going to get
and it's
to.
a challenge. It's an ongoing challenge to get fair trade products into our supermarkets and our local shops. And so it's really important that, first of all, that as customers we demand those products, because you know, a lot of stuff that gets stocked in shops is through demand and customer demand.
Are fair trade products more likely to be? Are they likely to be more expensive?
They can be more expensive, but sometimes not by a huge amount. And I think this is the important thing, is that when you look at the impact of fair trade and how it supports the farmers and the producers that are making these goods, and also how it supports good environmental practices, good sustainable farming practices, how it links in with climate action, you know, then that extra 10 or 20 cent that you're paying for a fair trade bar of chocolate, as opposed to a non-fair trade bar of chocolate, actually, you know, that value goes a long way.
Of course, because often we think, how do we make a change? Is it solar panels and electric cars? Well, it actually can be as simple as the produce that you purchase. Right, Kate's still with us. We're going to go back to Kate in a moment. I want to say good morning again to Mary Kay Mullen. Mary Kay, you're a fair trade product seller. Zaytun, is that how you pronounce your product and your range of products?
Yeah, it means olive. It's a group in London who went out to Palestine in about 2001 and were helping out with the olive harvest, and they saw that the farmers in the West Bank in Palestine didn't have a good market. They were making they were selling in the Middle East, and they weren't getting a good money back for their work. So they decided to set up a group in London, a not-for-profit organisation in London, and they imported direct from the farmers in the West Bank. And you know, they have developed over the years, and they sell it out to shops as well, but also to people like me who voluntarily, you know, take it and sell it in my neighbourhood and all.
And do you sell it door to door, or do you work with suppliers? I don't know what's so amusing about that. Do you work with door to door? Do you? No, listen, it happens. But you work with retailers then, obviously, to stock your product.
Well, there are only one retailer in Derry that I know stops the product. It's Ethical Way Co-op out in Eglinton. You know, which is it's a not-for-profit organisation too. But they sell the dates. I mean, the idea is to support the farmers in Palestine. They've been having a dreadful hard time this year, especially since the 5th of October, being cut off from their farms, being attacked. One olive farmer was shot while he was picking olives with his family. So it's beautiful, fresh, you know, straight from the farm.
And I suppose if you want to suppress a people, you suppress their food production.
Yeah, that's right too.
Don't you really? That would be part of the.
Yeah, and the idea is that the farmers and producers get a fair price for their goods, and the goods are wonderful. They're delicious. The olive oil is some of the best olive oil, according to the Times. Even in London a couple of years ago, the best olive oil there is. Then we have soaps and Dead Sea bath salts, and it's the only Palestinian Dead Sea bath salts, and the soaps are made traditionally by women, handmade in Nablus. And my living room smells beautiful because that's my warehouse at the moment. So I'm, especially since November, I've been doing stalls around. I started in Moville and doing stalls around Derry and Donegal.
Well, that's not a million miles away from door to door. You're selling the product directly to the customer.
Yeah, at events, direct and at wholesale prices, the cheapest they can get.
And do you find that since the awful events of October that has triggered the situation we see now, do you think the public are more open to purchasing?
Yes.
And they see it more than acquiring a product.
Yeah. Oh yes, they also see it as supporting Gaza, you know, and they give extra money for trees, for replanting trees that the settlers or the army dig up, the traditional olive trees and stuff in the farms. And a lot of the farmers are also women. You know, this is International Women's Week. A lot of the farmers and producers are women. I mentioned the soaps and Nablus. You know, they work in I mean, there's very little work for people in the West Bank, and they work in, you know, producing it and, you know, packaging it as well and all. And it's hard absolutely delicious food.
At the moment, it's hard to see a pathway to recovery. You would always hope it's there, but you know, going forward, the likes of farming and buying products would assist it in relation to that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I presume you're watching with a mixture of horror and interest, obviously, with what's happening in the Middle East at the moment, Mary Kay.
Yeah. Oh yes. And this is one way to feel less than helpless, you know. People seem the same when they're buying it, you know, from me and all. And then people are using it for fundraising as well. There's going to be a big fundraiser in Letterkenny on the 26th of March where they're going to have raffles for baskets of this stuff, hampers of the stuff as well. And they can get through in Derry. They can get through to me, Mary Kay Mullen. You know, I'll be on social media, on Facebook. I have it advertised on my Facebook page. You know,
right,
so,
and it's Zaytoun or
Zaytoun, Zaytoun. They have a lovely website, zaytoun.uk.
And very distinctive packaging as well.
Oh, gorgeous! It's absolutely beautiful, you know, and the contents are beautiful as well, you know. And people, things like za'atar, which is a thyme and sesame seed, you know, herb, you know, and just delicious, and the olive oil and the dates are wonderful. Traditionally, this is what people use when they in Ramadan. You know, when they fasted for the day, the first thing they eat is one of these Majul dates, and they are juicy.
You have it in front of me here. Okay.
Juicy and you know, very sweet and
never tried
absolutely
a date.
lovely. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to start today. It's just I'm very I'm also about texture and stuff. Do you know what I might overcome it.
It's a gorgeous.
Okay, listen, that's brilliant. Thank you so very much indeed. Sometimes, Kate, you know, when we're donating or you know or buying certain products, it's having sort of a faith that it is actually making the difference. You know what I mean? So so in other words, if I buy a fair trade product, or if someone does, how do they know that, you know, slavery isn't involved, or the farmer is getting, you know, a decent day's pay for it? But presumably there's checks and balances in place to ensure that the money is spent as
absolutely
the consumer feels is going to be. Okay.
And when you see that fair trade mark, you know, it's a guarantee that the producers are getting a fairer and a better deal, and they are being provided with an opportunity to also improve their lives, for not just themselves but also for their families and for the generations that are going to come after them, that will hopefully, you know, keep their farming practices going and their production lines going, and so that they can also plan for the future.
And look at we can relate to that here. It's on a completely different scale, but you know, farmers in this country know fine well, and as I say, it is on a different scale, but that there is people profiting. And it's not the Irish farmer. You know what I mean? That the Irish farmers are struggling to make ends meet with their produce. Now, I think we can scale that multiple times and what have you. But there should be an understanding, a kinship, I think, with farmers in other parts of the world, because on a completely different level, one could argue, but they're experiencing the same thing, that they're exploited, but people are making big profits off their backs.
Absolutely, and you know, so many of the products that we love here in this part of the world that we enjoy, you know, our coffee, our tea, our sugars, even flours, you know, as Mary Kay was saying, like, you know, olive oils and dates and almonds and all sorts of food products, and also, like, you know, fair trade covers everything from like cotton as well, cotton industry, and you know, it's about the actual trade agreement, and it's the idea of like us being able to, as consumers, recognizing where the products come from, where those source materials are coming from, and whether there is an ethics behind that, good ethics behind that, and you know, fair trade, fair deals for the producers.
Okay, Mary Mary Kay, I'm holding the Dead Sea salt here. What do you do with this?
It's bath salt for soaking in the bath or soaking your feet in or anything like that. It's absolutely wonderful for aches and pains and for runners and people like that. It's really great.
And
if people take a bath now, or they could do, they could do it in their feet. The foot bath.
Sounds lovely.
Well.
Independently verified mineral content. So this is derived from the Dead Sea.
Yeah.
The world's biggest natural spa. So
Yeah,
you can have
that's
that in
right,
your
yeah,
house.
yeah,
Right,
that's right,
Okay,
yeah.
keep an eye out for you.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on your social medias. Mary Kay Mullen, a fair trade product seller, and Kate O'Callaghan, development worker with Change Makers Donegal. Fair Trade Week, actually, we're in the middle of it now, aren't we? From 4th to the 17th of March?
Yeah, it's actually Fair Trade Fortnight. From 4th to the 17th.
And
yes.
Then International Women's Day. It's all interconnected.
International Women's Day, and it is interconnected because, as Mary Kay pointed out, a lot of the producers are female women producers on farms, and so there's a really important link there.
Kate, it's been lovely having you in. Thank you so very much. Mary Kay, thank you. Tire Mary Kay, thank you. Tire holding up your poster. Such is your passion.
Because people don't know what it is, and I think
know.
it's so beautiful as well.
I think so, but I think you've done a great job there.
Beautifully produced as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mary Kay.
then.
Lovely having the both of you in. It is the 9 till noon show. We've got a choir coming up for you, Ukrainian choir, and more guests on the programme as well. We also actually have Business Matters, don't we, as well? The business news, that's coming up shortly. When do you want to do that, Caroline? I've brought Caroline with me to Carndonagh. She brought me to Carndonagh. When do you want to do that? Do it now. Okay. Right, we're going to take a break here from Carndonagh, and we'll have Business Matters preview with Chris Ashmore. That's all coming up shortly.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. The 9 till Noon Show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Go full Lidl with exclusive Lidl Plus Super Savers. Like Board B approved Irish whole chicken was $4.99, now $3.99. Crisp Pink Lady apples were $2.99, now only $1.99. And Lidl Plus Wine of the Week Deluxe Western Cape Sauvignon Blanc was $8.99, now $7.49. Scan the Lidl Plus app and go full Lidl today. Get the facts to Drinkaware, visit drinkaware.ie.
Betty Morgan talks about her son.
Eamon was one of life's givers. When he had a sudden brain hemorrhage and sadly died, his organ donation helped 2 people transform their lives. It's consoled us so often. Eamon was a giver in life, and to now he's a giver of life.
Organ donors save lives. Make today the day you decide to be an organ donor and let your family know your wishes. For more, visit hse.ie/organ donation. From the HSE.
Still dealing with frustratingly slow broadband? Don't wait any longer. Switch to Imagine's high-speed broadband today. Act fast. Sign up before the 31st of March and get our Hero package for just $49.99. Visit Imagine.ie or free phone us on 1-800-938-407 to upgrade to faster broadband faster. Imagine Broadband is subject to location and availability with a minimum 18-month contract. Activation fees and annual price change if CPI plus 3% applies. See Imagine.ie for full T&Cs.
Do you know someone who is a real-life superhero in your community? Highland Radio's Community Hero campaign is on the lookout for those extraordinary individuals who go that extra mile for others. Nominate your local hero today and they could win €1,000. Nominate someone who you believe is a superhero within your community by emailing their name, address, the reason why, and your contact details to hero@highlandradio.com. Closing date for entries is the 18th of March 2024. Visit highlandradio.com for more information.
Okay, welcome back to the programme. It is Wednesday, which means it is the day we release our business podcast, Business Matters, and its presenter, Chris Ashmore, joins us on the programme now. Chris, thanks very much for your time today. I do appreciate it.
Good morning, Greg.
Okay, we're going to talk about the podcast in a moment. But first, let's get some news. And Local Enterprise Week underway now.
Yeah, just to mention, up and running. Great reaction to the events so far. It continues until Friday. So if you still want to book something, there are places. The events are free. So just go to localenterprise.ie. You'll find out more about that. One particular event of note, the Donegal Women in Business Network. They're hosting a cross-border event in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel in Buncrana, and that's on Friday from 4 to 7 o'clock. Keynote speaker is Downing's woman Joanne Sweeney, author and a former member of the newsroom team here in Highland, and that will also have a chance for people to network. So that's underway.
Interesting times. And interesting news actually emerged over the last couple of days. A very popular brand, JD Sports, they're coming to Letterkenny?
Yes, they're coming to Letterkenny. I didn't know it's actually John Davis Sports. That's the full name.
I can see why they went with the initials.
So JD Sports, they have a planning permission in with regard to some alterations to the former Argos premises in the Letterkenny Retail Park. So it's a big store and looking for signage and a few things inside. So that planning decision is due the 24th of April. They now have 22 stores in Ireland, so it's a big multiple coming to Letterkenny.
Brilliant stuff. New car registrations on the up in Donegal anyway.
Well, up in Donegal, 26% up in February. Of course, the beginning of the year always has the most registrations, but nevertheless, 26% up compared with this time last year. Toyota, the most popular brand in Donegal, and just we hear so much about electric cars. Petrol cars are down slightly, about 31%, about a third. Diesel were actually up slightly in Donegal, the number of sales. The petrol hybrid now accounting for about 25% of the market. So basically 1 in 4 new cars in Donegal is a petrol hybrid. And the hybrids seem to be more popular here because of the fact that we hear about the range anxiety.
And the charging infrastructure is still just not there yet.
It's not there. So if you have the hybrid, it gets around that to a degree.
Exactly. All right.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
1 Porsche registered.
I thought you weren't going to mention my car.
Yeah. And 7 Teslas and 19 Cupras. The Cupras
that being
like
said,
a Seat.
That being said, there was a time that the Porsche would be the wow car. But now 7 Teslas, pretty pretty nice vehicles then. All right, good stuff. Happy driving in your Porsche, by the way, if you are that one person. Tended to supply electricity for all local authorities in Ireland?
I just threw this in. It goes to show that people are shopping around for value, including our local authorities. Now, this is all centralised, all the local authorities in Dublin, but the government puts out a tender. The electricity companies apply, and whoever gets it supplies the electricity to all the local authority offices around the country and all their various facilities. So the bill, that electricity bill, is in the region of 77 million a year. So it's a tidy little contract.
Yeah, indeed. And both parties have a bit of gamble to take because you don't know which way the supply costs are going.
Also, just congratulations to Claire McDonough, the new president of Letterkenny Chamber, a co-owner of La Maison Interior Design Studio in Letterkenny. She was appointed at the AGM, taking over from Fionnuala Rabbit of Highland Radio.
Indeed.
So
we had a good
best of luck to Claire. Yeah,
a good chat with her. Was it Friday? Actually, I think it was. Okay, right. Let's get down to business. The Business Matters podcast this week. Chris, who have you been chatting to?
I've been speaking with Axel Pavlik, who is originally from Germany, now lives in Port Salon, came over here on holidays a couple of times, fell in love with Donegal, retired from his positions abroad, and a couple of years ago decided to make some high-end and rather stunningly attractive chocolates, and his business has taken off, and his brand is known as the Chocolate Man from Donegal.
I like that. I wonder, is that a bit of German confidence? Would a Donegal man say the Chocolate Man from Donegal? I don't know. He probably is a Donegal man now living here, but maybe that sort of German heritage has given him that confidence.
The little box, you'll see them in number of outlets around the county, and it's a lovely box. The chocolates, there is a wow factor there. It's the higher end of the market, but he's creating them, and I went down to his little kitchen in the old school community centre in Kerrykeele, where it's all taking place, and he showed me what was happening and explained to me just how his business has gone so far.
So I started now 2 years ago on a very small scale, figuring it all out. How do I package those things once I have them? How do I send them around the world without them melting or falling over and being smashed on the way? Selling them locally on the market is fun in the shops. And then Des from the Blue Goat called me the Chocolate Man. And at some point I said, oh, that's actually maybe the Donegal Chocolate Man. Maybe there's a brand in there. And that's what it became. the whole setup here in the community center in Carrickeel is very beneficial in that I pay for the time that I use the kitchen. So if I don't use it much, I don't pay much. So that's friendly for basically an incubator for a small business like this. And last year I started to think of it as a business actually, and I'm amazed to say that it was self-financing.
Okay, interesting, and it's going to be interesting to listen to the full interview and find out all the different stuff he makes and the different flavours and what have you. So that's available for you to listen at your leisure. You can stream it on our website or download it and listen when you're out for a walk or whatever you want to do when it suits you. It's on Spotify and iTunes as well, and broadcast on the radio too at the weekend, Chris.
Yeah, on Sunday after the 6 o'clock news, so you can hear all about these chocolates. And it's like fine dining.
Do you have a sweet tooth, Chris?
I do.
I was
they're
wondering
a
why
real
there's
work
such a
of
glint-
art.
a glint in your
I
eye.
was impressed. Impressed.
So you got samples?
Did get a few, yes.
Where are they?
Not here, Greg.
Okay, brilliant stuff. And if anyone wants to get in contact with you, Chris, how do they do so?
businessmatters@highlandradio.com is the email address. So every Sunday after 6 o'clock news, it goes out.
Brilliant stuff, Chris. Thank you very much indeed. That's the Business Matters podcast, available for you right now, or you can listen on Sunday at 6. We're going to take a really quick break, and we'll be back live again from the Colgan Hall in just a couple of moments.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Looking to treat your mum to something personal this Mother's Day? Add your own special touch to the iconic Dunnes Stores e-gift card. Choose a photo of mum or select a snap of someone she loves, whether it's you, a family member, or even a furry friend. Upload your photo and we'll add it to her e-gift card, which she can use across fashion, food and homeware. Buy and send a personalised e-gift card at any time, or schedule it to arrive on Mother's Day. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms, conditions, exclusions and minimum spend apply.
So, what do you want to watch tonight?
Oh, what about... Can't find something to watch? Introducing Sky Stream, the new way to get Sky. It takes all your shows out of all your apps and channels and puts them in one place. So you can end the... Oh, that looks good. Search Sky Stream today. Sky. Believe in better. Requires broadband and relevant third-party subscriptions. Further terms apply.
Donegal's newest and largest live music and cocktail venue is coming soon to Ballybofey. This March, come and experience Gallon's Bar, featuring 18 screens, 12 live music acts weekly, 4 bars across 2 floors, including 2 cocktail bars, a wine bar and a rooftop beer garden. Gallon's Bar, Ballybofey, something for everyone. Strictly over 21's venue. Follow on Instagram, Gallon's Bar, for more details, competitions and the reveal of our official opening date.
On March 8th, we'll be asked to vote in 2 referendums. The first referendum is about how our Constitution recognises families, and the second proposes to replace existing wording with new text to provide recognition for care within families. Find out more in the booklet delivered to your home or see electoralcommission.ie/referendums. Your vote is your voice, so be a voter on Friday, March 8th from An Comisiún Tábhachtán, Ireland's Independent Electoral Commission.
And you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here, live from the Colgan Hall. And there's a great buzz now here with the events that are taking place downstairs from us. It's part of the celebration of Your Voice, Your Community. It's part of International Women's Day with Inishowen Development Partnership and the Inishowen Co, which plays a big part in supporting initiatives like this. And we've had some wonderful guests so far on the programme. It's been really great getting to meet and listen to some of those people. And our next guest is Carmel Doherty, Barrack Hill Town Park Steering Committee Chair, English Language Tutor and Chair of Carndonagh Ukraine Support Group. Could you not take a few other things on, Carmel? Maybe you have a few other minutes in the day you could use up?
Yeah, well, there are a few more projects, Greg, that I'm interested in pursuing in the future.
People will recognize female deputy principal in Carndonagh Community School, I suppose, as we approach International Women's Day. Important to recognise that as well.
Yeah, it really was, and it was a great opportunity. It was also a great challenge, but it brought a different skill set to the senior management team in Carndonagh Community School, and at that stage there were about 1,500 pupils there. So it gave me an opportunity to make small changes.
Like cultural changes? I know that's a big buzzword around that at the moment, but I'm on about the sort of, maybe a male-dominated culture.
Oh,
in this
yeah,
instance.
and it always was a male-dominated culture. But, and while the leaders that were in the school, were totally into education, I think what I brought to the school was, an absolute commitment and dedication to maybe help those that weren't heard. So one of my first roles would have been a special needs coordinator, and I was passionate about that because I really felt and still feel very strongly that people who are differently abled, and I'm not going to use the word disabled because I really strongly feel differently able, and with special needs, yet they had to be heard, and they had to have kind of a fearless champion for them as well. So I suppose that
must have been really rewarding then to be able to go in and affect change that would have such a significant impact on people's lives, and not just in the present, but as they went through their lives, and maybe some of the things that you introduced as changed the pathway for people in a positive way. It's a lovely thing to be a part of, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was, and it was, it was a great opportunity for me.
Yeah.
And I hope. I mean, I went in to be deputy principal to make a positive impact on young people's lives in Inishowen and North Inishowen, and I think I did, and that is great. And I suppose that is what has inspired me now when I retired. And I was lost when I retired because that job was,
seemed like everything at the time.
It was everything, So I was a bit lost when I retired.
But then you bumped into 4 other inspirational women.
I certainly did.
What happened then?
And I was out walking in the Barrackhill Town Park, which was also created by an inspirational Cairn woman, Aideen Glacken. And I happened to meet Grania, Helen, Francis and Kathleen. And they were growing organically as a community in the Barrackhill. And fortunately, they invited me to join. And, the Barrackhill Community Gardens is an amazing place.
Yes.
It's the place that everyone who is new to Carndonagh eventually gravitates towards.
I get you, yeah.
So we've had Syrians there, we've had the Ukrainians there, English, American, Indians, and we grow food together.
But beyond the food, you grew bonds and links.
Yes, it is about growing, and it's great to have your hands in the soil and to learn from each other. But we've learned about each other's cultures, we've learned about each other's traditions. We have formed bonds. And I mean, I know it's kind of cliched to say that, growing is good for your mental health, but I mean, this growing has helped an awful lot of people, including myself when I was lost after retiring, to, feel that there was a worth. Yeah. That, okay, I was retired, but I still had something to contribute.
We need that, though, don't we?
Absolutely.
That's why people should start planning, as soon as they can. Well, what am I going to do when I start working? Because there's that inevitable gap. How can you, work the 8, 10, however hours a day that you work, and then that to stop and not have something else to fill that void? And it is a void.
Yeah, it's a huge void. And in a rural area, it's a huge void.
I think what's interesting too about you and the fellow locals, in inverted commas, and those that have become locals, people from a Ukrainian, Indian, Syrian background, is that I suppose when you're together you can celebrate what you have in common, but I presume individually you don't feel that your culture is being threatened. You can respect other people's culture, but also celebrate what you have in common. And I wonder, and there's a lot of people aren't comfortable with
Yeah.
that, and I get that, and I respect those views, but it's kind of that on a national scale that this and so many other countries need to sort of maybe acquire.
I totally agree, Greg, because at the end of the day, when I met the Ukrainians, by accident, I bumped into them at a volunteer fair here in the Colgan Hall, and I met, first of all, Elena, and, you know, they were human beings. That is what struck me, was real problems, real issues. And all I could see was, when I met these young families, all I could see was my own grown-up children. And if they were landed in a foreign land without the language, you know, would there be somebody that would kind of look after them? And I'm like, no, I'm not threatened. I see them as having the same problems as ourselves.
Yeah, and you know, through your work and through the general work of integration and what have you, Ukrainians, you know, what do they need? How can we meet those needs? There was the creation of a good and new shop, but it was a two-way street too, because obviously these people have moved into an area facing its own challenges, and the biggest challenge facing Inishowen at the moment is the defective concrete crisis, and that shop was able to feed.
And that's the kind of small gesture that we need. These are the small gestures that we need. So they had made a profit of €700 in the Goodest New Shop, which was again supplied to us by Helen Nolan, another really inspirational Cairn woman, and past pupil of Carndonagh Community School. And, you know, they give that €700 profit to the Micah families.
Carmel, it's been lovely speaking to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have you been downstairs yet? Or
I
are you
have
going
been
down
downstairs.
Now? It's a nice buzz there, isn't there?
It is a fabulous buzz,
okay.
and, you know, the whole array of different cultures.
Yep, okay. Carmel, thank you very much indeed. That's Carmel Doherty there, who's Barrackhill Tampock Steering Committee Chair, English Language Tutor, Chair of the Carndonagh Ukraine Support Group, and of course former Principal in Carndonagh Community School. We are broadcasting live, in case you aren't aware, from the Colgan Hall here in beautiful Carndonagh. We're celebrating International Women's Day in association with the Inishowen Development Partnership and Inishowen Co-op, and we've got some live music for you in a moment, but first we want to introduce to you some of those that have just came in for the day, I suppose. I'll say good morning to you first, Georgina Key. How are you keeping, Georgina?
All good, thank you very much.
So are you here purely to soak it up, inspect and enjoy what's going on? You're here as a guest, or do you have work to do as well?
A little bit of both. I've very much enjoyed the event, but I'm here as a Highland dance teacher, so I was sharing a bit of knowledge about Ulster Scots culture, and one of my dancers was performing.
So what is Highland dancing?
So traditionally, I suppose it was created in the Highlands of Scotland. It's the whole kilts, hands above the heads, traditional Highland dancing, but it's very, very prevalent, especially in Northern Ireland, but there's also a few Donegal-based dance schools as well.
You're also part of a cross-border project, aren't you? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yep, so I work for the Northwest Cultural Partnership, which are based in Derry, Londonderry, and we have a project that works with ourselves and with IDP here in Inishowen. So it's a cross-border project, bringing people together through the arts. It's been very exciting so far. We've actually had a group of traditional musicians and dancers, Highland and Irish dancers, who have recently performed at Dublin Castle for the Taoiseach and also at Downing Street for the Prime Minister. So it's been a very interesting process.
Lovely stuff. And I'm also in the company of Christine Carlin. Christine, if you don't mind me saying, you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
What a lovely outfit you have on.
Thank you.
Christine, are you here today just as a guest and just to soak it up?
I am here to enjoy every bit of it.
And what do you think so far, Christine?
International Women's Day is absolutely wonderful. And the organisation, you know, to get this all together, it is absolutely amazing.
You've attended a couple of events like this, didn't you? Attend one in Ballyliffin not so long ago as well?
I did indeed, and it was amazing as well.
And what do you enjoy most? Is it meeting other people? Is it the social side of it? Is it seeing some of the products that are on display, or the performances for that matter?
All of it, the history of it, the communication, and it is absolutely uplifting. It is really, really a marvellous day.
But your connections to the Colgan Hall go beyond just coming here today.
Yes.
You've got a wonderful family connection to the history of this place,
My
don't you?
my late father, he was a boy soprano.
Oh, wow.
And he sang in this hall as a child.
On that stage?
He was 10 years old.
Wow.
And believe it or not, I attended this school, the secondary school. But since then, I've been a member of the drama group, Patsy Kavanagh's drama group in Greencastle.
Rightio.
And we done a play here. And also, we had different groups, you know, that met up here. So I'm quite used to and I had quite a lot of relations taught in the Colgan Hall.
So this was formerly a school, is that correct? No?
Yes, this was my secondary school.
Really? Okay. You don't know what your dad sang here? I know you weren't around and it
No,
was a long time
but-
ago, just in case it was passed down through the history.
Yeah, but my late father, I presume he was a soprano because he was only 10, I think, when he sang here. And my eldest, my two boys, my two sons, Patrick and Paul, they were both boy sopranos.
I can just imagine him singing like Goodbye. Do you know that song?
Yes.
Do you know something like that there? You can almost hear it.
Yeah, and the music, like my late brother James, when he sang, he was like Charlie Pride.
Okay.
My eldest son Patrick, he sings like Charlie Pride.
There you go.
My youngest son Paul, he sings, he plays the guitar, the violin, and
That's enough. I already dislike him. He's too talented.
Yes.
So you haven't told me what you think, Christine. You've mentioned all the family members. I won't ask you to sing. Don't worry.
Yes.
But do you have a tune in you? Not that I would ask you to sing.
Yes,
of course.
I am a member of the Carndonagh choir in the university in Letterkenny.
Right.
And this is my 7th year being there. And to say I have enjoyed it would be an understatement.
The understatement
I've
of the year.
enjoyed every moment of it. And I would like this moment to wish our amazing director, Veronica McCarn, and all my colleagues in the choir, my family, and all my neighbours and friends a very happy time and a beautiful day.
Christine, it's lovely having you. Thank you so very
Thank
much
you,
for calling
Craig.
up. And I think just it's really nice to have a connection to the history of here with your father.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, Christine, lovely having you in. But you could listen to, sorry, not Christine, Georgina, you could listen to Christine all day, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
But I had to keep an eye on the clock here. I think we could go on for an hour, Christine, if we had it. But it's been lovely speaking to you.
Been a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much for calling up. And we'll let you go back and enjoy the rest of the day.
My appreciation.
Georgina, thank you. So polite as well. Georgina, thank you so very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.
It's been really lovely chatting to you too as well. That's Christina Carlin and Georgina Key.
Thank you,
We're coming.
Greg.
No, it's our pleasure to have you, Christina. We're coming close to the end of this special 9 to noon show live from the Colgan Hall here, just a few feet away from the very stage that Christine's father sang as a soprano, aged 12, at the opening of the Colgan Hall. And then, of course, she also went to secondary school here. So a lovely sense of the history, which I love. Are also all about the current and the future. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be coming back with some live music for you. So stay tuned for that. We've got a number of guests going to come into our outside broadcast studio here, and we're going to hear some music from them. So as we get that all set up for you, we're going to take a quick break. Rejoin us in a few mo's. That's moments, by the way. I don't know. I should remember my age.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
This Mother's Day, treat your mum to a delightful experience at Radisson Blue Letterkenny. Come together for a sumptuous lunch from 12:30 to 3 on Sunday, the 10th of March, for just $34.95 per person. A kids' menu is also available. Reserve your table today by calling 9194444. Make your mum's day memorable with Radisson Blue Letterkenny.
Attention Vodafone customers. Vodafone 3G is switching off to make your 4G and 5G networks faster. So make sure you're ready for when 3G goes by setting up 4G and Wi-Fi calling on your phone to enjoy enhanced coverage. But if there's no option to do this, you may have to upgrade to a newer 4G capable device. Find out more about how to set up or upgrade by calling in-store or search Vodafone 3G switch off. Vodafone, together we can.
Save on calving and lambing essentials at Homeland. Calf stomach tube now €14.99. Save €5. Nutrius calf jackets buy 2 for €50. Mookall calving sensor now €299. Save €30. And save 10% on the FlexiThin Classic waterproof jacket and trousers. All this and much more. Save in store and online at homeland.ie. With nationwide delivery available. Offers available until March 31st.
Get all your training and matchday essentials at Michael Murphy Sports. From GAA gloves to mouthguards and grip socks to boots. Also shorts, base layers and training equipment. Gear up for pre-season and match days with the new Donegal home jersey and the Donegal GAA Rockaway range of sweaters, bottoms and half zips at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates with Ireland West Airport. Time to book the family summer holiday. Fly to Barcelona, Faro, Milan, Majorca and much more for a perfect family getaway. Ireland West Airport. Don't just take off, take it easy.
Okie doke, rather cloudy, but stay mostly dry with a few isolated patches of light rain. Southeast breezes will freshen with highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. And I can tell you the weather has wonderful here in Carndonagh today, if not just a little chilly, but you don't mind that. Cloudy and perhaps a little damp this evening with a fresh southeasterly breeze. Lowest temperatures overnight of 4 to 6 degrees. I'll give you a wee heads up of what's happening tomorrow. It's going to be a cloudy start with some light patchy rain, but sunny spells will develop by the afternoon and it'll become mostly dry too. Southeasterly breezes will persist through the day. Temperatures of 8 to 10 degrees. Okay, as we edge towards the end of the programme, we are welcoming into our room here a number of guests. And we are saying good morning first to Aleftina. I want to make sure I get the pronunciation of your name correct.
Aleftina.
Aleftina. Okay, Aleftina, it's lovely to have you here. You are director of the Ukrainian choir. And have you performed yet? Or are you performing a little later?
Yes, actually, we are quite new choir. And there is not a lot of us. We are now we most likely vocal ensemble modern choir, but we will grow up, I hope. And our first performance was on this Christmas. So it's like a few months we singing together, and today really delighted to join the celebration of International Women's Day and sing together.
And it is an all-female collective.
Actually, yeah, as you said.
Today, yes.
Yes. Actually, sometimes a couple of men could join us, but it doesn't matter who will sing in general.
And how long have you been in Ireland now, Aleftina?
I'm in Ireland like year and a half almost.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And from where in Ukraine did you come from?
I came from the east of Ukraine.
Okay, so which is particularly intense with what's happening at the moment.
Yes, from dangerous place.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. And how's life been like for you here so far?
It was interesting from the beginning. It was really nice, and I was surprised how people nice here. I was surprised how people have a patience to understood each other. For example, if I made mistake in English, because obviously it's not my first language, and I never spoke English before I came here, so it's a bit stressful. But almost. I think maybe for all this time I had maybe one bad conversation when someone was insulting me because of language, but nothing else. People so polite. I'm so surprised. And this experience is unforgettable experience in many reasons because of people. Because I find that Irish people a bit similar to people in my country in some way. I was surprised in a good way. Actually, of course, nature here, it's more than beautiful. My eyes was distracted when I just came here. It was hard to focus on long distance, on these beautiful hills, mountains, on the ocean, all of that beauty. Yeah, so it's it was first month. It was nice month to rest, to get used to life in different place, and then we started to do something to sing. First of all, I and a couple of my friends we joined to Carndonagh's Choir of Ages. That's why we was inspired to maybe make something just for us.
And what are you going to perform for us in a moment?
Today we will sing a song. It's in Ukrainian called "Пісня буде поміж нас," but in translation it means the song will be among us. It was written by Ukrainian composer and performer Volodymyr Ivasyuk in 1971, and this song is sung by a man who realized that he cannot be near his beloved in that moment, but they will be always together in the song. And it's song that they can be each other together and just in song. That's why it's a bit more symbolic song for us.
And how important is it? I mean, obviously, to be part of the Irish community and what have you, but how important is it, I suppose, as many of you, if not all of you, miss home and, you know, maybe have lost loved ones and family members and away from your homeland, to be able to come together and sort of celebrate Ukrainian culture and music?
Actually, every time when we hear each other's language in different places, it makes I feel a bit happy, a bit more, but surprised, because I think most of us are used to hear English, to adjust to all these situations, to life there, and to be together, to sing together on our language. It means do not forget where we're from, do not forget some beautiful songs which was forget by some reason maybe, and that's why it's also every time it's just pleasure of singing to be together.
Okay, Aleftina, I'll let you take your place, join with the rest of the singers. You're going to hear a song now, and you heard the background from Aleftina yourself, who is the director of the Ukrainian choir. The choir performing at the event today. There's 17 members in total. We have a number of them here, and as I say, they are going to perform for us right now. So whenever you're ready.
Твоїх до моїх воріт, як струна, то чому згубився твій самотній слід, знаєш ти одна, але осінь отой слід листям ще не вкрила, бо до тебе навесні я повернусь мила, твої руки я візьму знову в свої руки, не розквітне поміж нас жовтий квіт розлуки. Не ховай очей блакитний промінь, заспівай мені останній раз, пісню ту візьму собі на спомин, пісня буде поміж нас, бо твій голос щедра повінь, я навколо з нею полем, жовтий лист спаде й виросте зелений, а ти в пісні будеш завжди біля мене. Як зійдуть сніги з гір потоками, ой глибокими навесні, квіткою наснишся синьокою, далині мені, далині. Але осінь отой слід листям ще не вкрила, бо до тебе навесні я повернусь мила. Твої руки я візьму знову в свої руки, не розквітне поміж нас жовтий квіт розлуки. Не ховай очей блакитний промінь, заспівай мені в останній раз, пісню ту візьму собі на спомин, пісня буде поміж нас, бо твій голос щедра повінь, я навколо з нею полем, жовтий лист спаде й виросте зелений, а ти в пісні будеш завжди біля мене. повінь, я вголосом голос нею повен, що ти лист паде і виросте зелений, а ти в пісні будеш завжди біля мене.
Жовтий лист паде і виросте зелений, а ти в пісні будеш завжди біля мене.
Thank you very, very much indeed. That was absolutely wonderful. And we really appreciate you, all of you coming in. That's the Ukrainian choir there. And that's where we have to leave it on this special 9 till noon show. I want to thank all the crew at the Cogan Hall for making us feel so welcome. It's been lovely to be part of your voice, your community as part of International Women's Day. Thanks to Inishowen Development Partnership and to the Inishowen Co-op. Thanks to Caroline O, who researched and produced the show. Shannon working on the programme as well. And Joe Dex, who looked after us from a technical standpoint. We're back in studio tomorrow, but that's where we have to leave it today. Stay tuned. John Bresson is coming up around